circumstances, baby. No, God is always there for me. Yeah, through the sunshine or through the rain, through the pleasure or through the pain, God is always there for me. So I met this old man. He was so poor, didn't hold no bed, so we slept on the floor. He's always smiling, never heard him complain. He said I've proven God again and again. So no matter what the circumstances may be, God is always there for me. Yeah. Through the sunshine or through the rain, through the pleasure or through the pain, God is always there for me. No matter what the circumstances may be, yeah, God is always there for me. Yeah. Through the good times or through the bad, through the happy times or through the sad, God is always there for me. The landlord weighs the rent, school fee too, partner drop bones, and the youth them need you. Friends all ask me what I'm gonna do. I smile and tell them that God will see me through. No matter what the circumstances may be, yeah, God is always there for me. Yeah. Through the sunshine or through the rain, through the pleasure or through the pain, God is always there for me. So no matter what the circumstances may be, God is always there for me. Yeah. Through the good times or through the bad, through the happy times or through the sad, God is always there for me. I met this old man. He was so poor, he didn't hold a bed, so we slept on the floor. He's always smiling, I never heard him complain. He said I've proven God again and again. So no matter what the circumstances may be, God is always there for me. Yeah. Through the sunshine or through the rain, through the pleasure or through the pain, God is always there for me. No matter what the circumstances may be, no, God is always there for me. Yeah. Through the good times or through the bad, through the happy times. Oh, there's not a broken vessel that God can't make. The thief was down to his last breath, hanging there and can't wait. When he turned to the master and said, Lord have mercy on me, he was just a broken vessel. Then Jesus washed away his sins, 'cause there's not a broken vessel that God can make. Oh, there's not a broken vessel God can't make. Yeah. When the whole world turns its back on you, Jesus will be your friend. He will pick up all the pieces, time and time again. united. Jesus sees the potter, and we are just the clay. And even when the vessel is broken, He won't throw the clay away. Bring Him all of your problems, your troubles, and you.
Good afternoon to all my listeners and viewers. Welcome to Rebel Radio. Today, Wednesday. Yes, and as usual, we have your agenda packed with interesting information for you today. Yes. And we are going to, we are preoccupied with hurricane restoration and the war in the Middle East. Yes, it is taking a toll on us. Right now we are facing higher electricity costs, higher costs in food, transportation costs going up, electricity costs going up, gasoline costs going up. The government had a press conference today and they expressed their concern. Right around the Caribbean, we are feeling the impact of this war. Senseless war it is. But some people are making money out of it. Yes. Few people in the world are making a lot of money. All right, we are going over to the Middle East. We want to start our discussion today to hear what is happening to our people in Palestine. And the Israelis have launched a war on Lebanon. Yes. And the situation was very bad before, so it must have gotten worse. I have Libre with me to tell us what is happening. Good afternoon, Libre.
Good afternoon, brother. How are you doing?
Well, I am supposed to be doing okay. How are you doing?
I am doing good. It's been a long day's work, but I'm happy to join you again and hopefully give some insightful updates.
Yes. Well, I know the war continues, the bombings and all the scarcities continue in Palestine, but I see where the Israelis have expanded its warlike machine to Lebanon now, and they are bombing and killing more people. How are you coping?
Yes, I think it's important to tell the audience that what's happening in Lebanon right now is very intentional. It's part of a long-term plan by the Zionists. It's called the Greater Israel Plan, and it's the expansion of Israel throughout West Asia, throughout the Middle East, and if the Zionists have their way, they will take over Lebanon, parts of Syria, Iraq, parts of Egypt, Jordan, and so it's really important to keep in mind that most of the focus right now is on southern Lebanon, where since March 2nd, they've killed over 2,200 people in Lebanon, and they're forcibly evacuating southern Lebanon in the same way that they have done in Gaza, dropping leaflets telling people they have to evacuate, and the military is actively there with their tanks. They are facing resistance, and that is why they haven't completely taken over the south. But they have been trying to do this. I believe this is the 6th time that Israel has invaded Lebanon and tried to take southern Lebanon specifically.
Yes. Well, 2,000, over 2,000 have been killed so far, and the bombings continue. You heard what is happening. So the situation in Gaza was bad. It must have gotten worse since over the last couple of weeks.
Yes, surprisingly, there have been more attacks over the last few weeks. I think it has to do a lot with the fact that most people's attention is on Iran, and Iran protecting its sovereignty, which is its right. And so the Israelis have taken advantage of that, and carried out multiple airstrikes, drone strikes, killing at least 3 journalists in the last 2 weeks, which raises the count of journalists targeted and killed by the Israelis to 263 journalists since the beginning of the year have been massacred. And so just last night, not so far from where we are, there was a bombing that killed 5 people. So there have been constant bombings. The thing that has been also increasing is that people are being killed by snipers. The Israelis are on the yellow line and actively shooting and killing civilians by snipers. The most recent victim was a 9-year-old child that was in a tent that was functioning as a classroom, and she was killed in front of her classmates. So there's a lot of craziness happening over here, unfortunately. The situation is getting a lot worse.
Oh my, yes. Well, the last time we spoke, the Israelis were preventing medical supplies and housing and food from entering. How has that been since? Has it improved?
So it has slightly improved. 2 days ago, they opened Zakim Crossing. Zakim Crossing is one of the northern checkpoints between occupied Palestine and Gaza. So it finally opened after about 44 days of being closed, and the Israelis are letting in roughly 150 trucks of humanitarian aid a day. Keep in mind, according to the so-called ceasefire agreement, they're supposed to be allowing 600 humanitarian aid trucks in a day. So they're letting in far less than they're supposed to be. They're using the excuse of the war with Iran, and so there is more things coming in. And the other thing that should be noted is that they're not allowing medical patients to leave. So there are medical patients that could be evacuated that are not being allowed out, that are dying of diseases that are completely treatable if they were to be allowed to leave Gaza. So they're being blocked. There's about 15,000 people waiting to get medical treatments outside of Gaza because the hospitals have been destroyed and there's no possibility of doing their treatments here.
Yes, yes. And what about water? Are the people getting water?
So, so water has become more difficult because the Israelis have been targeting water infrastructure, and especially in the south, they hit one of the main wells that was providing water to the community. It's in the process of being fixed, but we're going into summer, so there's more of a need for clean drinking water. So organizations here on the ground are doing the best that they can. For example, we just finished building our second water well, and we're providing about 120,000 liters of water daily. But this is not enough to meet the needs of people consistently. So organizations are trying their best to meet the needs because there's an increasing need. There's increasing diseases from parasites that are in the ground. Keep in mind, people are living in tents. The weather is getting hot. There's not good sewage because we're not allowed to. We don't have the proper infrastructure. So all of these things are a huge factor. Unfortunately, there are increasing skin diseases such as scabies, and people are getting sick from the drinking water because it's being contaminated. So we're trying our best to make sure people can not only get clean drinking water, but that they have places where they can store it so that it doesn't get contaminated.
Oh my, I can really imagine that life is tough. And so far, those additional trucks that are coming in are not taking in more housing facilities for the people.
So they have been taking they've been bringing in minimal amounts of tents, very limited amounts, not enough to replace. If my memory serves me correctly, a little bit under 800,000 families are in need of new tents, and what's based on what's coming in. It's rationing. Like, we're rationing it out to families that are in the streets or have really bad tent situations, and so unfortunately, we're trying to prioritize. Although hundreds of thousands of families are in need of tents, especially going into another extreme season. We're leaving winter, which was extreme in the sense of the cold and the rain, and now we're going into summer, where there's going to be extreme heat. So there's a need for water, and there's a need for cool living environment. Tents are just not sustainable. So there's minimal coming in, and they're not allowing in the mobile homes that we were requesting. Mm-hmm. The mobile homes are more dignified, and it's actual structure, so it can protect from extreme weather as well as rodents and parasites. Mm-hmm. So those, unfortunately, are not being let in.
Mm-hmm. But they are not allowing the mobile homes to come in. They are not allowing those.
No.
Wow. I can see it is very terrible, very, very terrible. So as we speak, the price of food must be getting more expensive, and I know the people are not working. So how are they coping?
Yeah, unfortunately, prices, because of the limited amounts of things coming in, the prices of food is going up. And before the genocide, fresh fruit and vegetables was very accessible and cheaper than canned food, for example. And now, unfortunately, the opposite is true. The processed canned food that is coming in is a lot more accessible than the fresh fruit and produce that is coming in, because there's very limited amounts of fresh produce coming in, unfortunately. So people are relying on donations from people from outside, or for example, WFP, the World Food Program, may give some limited amounts of vouchers so that people can go to these stores to request and get up to a certain amount of food. So there are different ways that the food issue is being attacked. Unfortunately, this is creating a systematic issue, similar to in the U.S. they have food stamps. So you make people, dependent on food from outside. It's mostly processed and not healthy, and this is part of the colonization of people's diets and the restrictions that the Israelis are implementing on Gazans. They're making it a lot more difficult to be healthy in an already not healthy environment, and inaccessible for the majority of people. So people, unfortunately, are sticking to the things that are less expensive, such as food, or such as bread, and bread, rice, pasta, and processed canned food. So unfortunately, this is the reality.
Yes, sir. Yes. And what about those organizations? I remember there were some organization that the Israelis were asked to leave, some health organization.
Yes, there was about 37 organizations that were supposed to stop their programming. So for some reason, they put a pause to that. So we're not sure when they plan to re-implement it, but for now, it's postponed until further notice, which kind of speaks to how arbitrary these things are, right? If these organizations were in fact a threat or any type of causing harm to the community, they wouldn't be allowed to continue. Unfortunately, the ones that are causing the harm is the Israelis. And they continue, although the organizations are continuing to work, some of them have been restricted from bringing new people in. So if they have someone here, if that person leaves, they won't allow someone else to come replace them. So there's restrictions being imposed on them, but they can still function as organizations. None of the organizations have been stopped from functioning here in the Gaza Strip.
Yes. Earlier you mentioned that a student was among the casualty, and that she was shot in the classroom. That is where she was shot.
Yes. So unfortunately, the education situation here it's called like temporary learning spaces, and because schools have been attacked, schools have either been attacked and destroyed, or whatever schools remain have become people's refuge. So people whose homes have been destroyed are living inside classrooms or school buildings that still remain in the Gaza Strip. So students go to tents to learn. These are temporary learning spaces. And one of these temporary learning spaces, which was near the yellow line, which is a made up line that the Israelis created to justify their occupation of the Gaza Strip. So over 60% of Gaza right now is under military occupation. The yellow line is the demarcation, is the place where behind the yellow line is where the Israelis are. So the Israelis were at the yellow line and they started shooting at the school, and they ended up shooting a 9-year-old girl in front of her classmates. She died, and students were wounded as well as teachers. This unfortunately is becoming more common. We're seeing a lot more children and people here in Gaza being killed by snipers.
Wow. Yes. And as as far as you know, these attacks are being carried out against civilians. There are no Hezbollah fighters that are retaliating or fighting back. All these bombings and these attacks are being carried out against civilians.
Yes, all of these, most of these attacks are being carried out against civilians. Since the beginning of the genocide, the Zionists have not been able to confirm, with the exception of maybe some key leadership, that the people they're killing are in fact part of the resistance group. As a matter of fact, they've admitted that over 80% of the people that they've killed since the beginning of the genocide have been civilians. This is the Israeli occupation forces themselves admitting that they have killed over 80%. Over 80% of the people that they've killed are civilians, and a large majority of the attacks have been on civilians and civilian infrastructure, unfortunately. And they're even outside of Gaza, in occupied Palestine, they're in the process of passing a law that will allow them to execute Palestinian hostages. So people that they've kidnapped and they have in their prisons, they want to make it legal for them to kill almost, it's about 9,436 Palestinians that are being illegally detained by the Israelis right now. And that's only in occupied Palestine. That does not include the people that they've kidnapped from Gaza. They're passing a law so that they can kill them, so that they can hang them. So we're paying attention to this very closely. A lot of organizations are trying to stop this and demand that this end, because essentially what the Israelis are proposing is that anyone that they have in custody will go before the Israeli military court, which has about a 93% conviction rate, and within 90 days of being captured and held hostage by the Israelis, that they will be executed. No trial, no jury, just hung and killed.
Oh my! So there you have it. They are planning to execute some more people, and they have killed thousands already. And you heard the situation that exists in Gaza at the moment. The people are still suffering. Well, Libra, I want to thank you very much, and I want you to remain safe until we are able to talk again. Thank you very much.
Of course, brother. Take care.
Yes. You take care over there. And that was Libra, keeping us informed about what is happening in Gaza. And there you have it, that the bombing so far in Lebanon, where Israel has expanded its operation, has killed over 2,000. Yes, they have opened some opened up to some trucks. Over 150 trucks have brought in supplies, but that is what is needed at the moment. This is Rebel Radio. Let us take a break.
It's the Everybody Sale at New Budget Supplies. Do-it-yourself professionals and contractors. This is the sale for you. Lumber, steel, dress and form ply, water tanks, pumps, PVC pipes and fittings, toilets, bathtubs, vanities and basins, windows, paint, doors, floor and wall tiles, thin sets and grout. Up to 20% off selected items. 195 Hagleyburg Road. Telephone 923-4560. New Budget Supplies. Always the best prices.
Tools, Hardware and Supplies is putting up the heat this summer with their super saving summer sale. Prices are slashed on everything you need to fix up your home. Beautiful tiles, sleek doors, top quality windows, modern sanitary ware, exclusive flooring and more. At Tools, Hardware and Supplies, we have you covered for the summer.
So come visit us at 279 Spanish Town Road, 4 South Camp Road, 8 Red Hills Road,
or online at toolsja.com.
Tools!
The Lion King of Hard Hills. Questions for tomorrow. There's been time I didn't know right from wrong, but in every situation God gave me consolation that my trials come to make me strong. Through it all, I've learned to trust in Jesus. I've learned to trust in God. Through it all, I've learned to depend upon His words. I've been to lots of places, seen so many faces. There were times I felt so all alone, but in my lonely hours, those special hours, Jesus let me know that I am His own. Through it all, I've learned to trust in Jesus. I've learned to trust in God. Through it all, I've learned to depend upon His words. I thank God for the mountains, thank Him for the valleys, thank Him for the storms He brought me through. 'Cause if I didn't have problems, I wouldn't know that God could solve them. I wouldn't know what faith in God could do. Through it all, I've learned to trust in Jesus. I've learned to trust in God. Through it all, I've learned to depend upon His word. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I'll fear no evil, for thou art with me, thy rod and thy staff that comfort me. Though the wicked will come upon me to eat up my flesh, they will stumble and fall. Through it I've learned to put my trust in God through it all. Through it all, I've learned to depend upon His word. Through it all, I've learned to trust in Jesus. I've learned to put my trust in God. Through it all, I've learned to depend upon His word. Through it all, learn to trust in Jesus. Learn to trust in God. Through it all, Lord have mercy. God in the day is still God in the night. Life is easy when you're on top of the mountain. You've got peace of mind like you never know. Yeah, but things change when you're down in the valley. Don't lose faith, or you're never alone. For the God on the mountain goes wrong, He'll make them right. And God of the good times is still God in the bad times. God in the day is still God in the night. Talk of faith when you're on top of the mountain, but talk them easy when life at its best, but it's down in the valley of trials and temptation. That's when your faith is really put to the test. Lord of mercy, for the
we are going to show you now a video. You remember Dr. Mavis Gilmore, that Minister of Education under the Sierra administration in the 1980s. She's 100 years. And we're going to show you the Minister of Education today, who was born in 1980, talking about what she's doing, how she's trying to reproduce some of what Dr. Gilmore introduced during our tenure. Let's watch this video.
Today is a absolutely another wonderful day. Today we celebrate the 100th birthday of Dr. Mavis Gilmore. She became Minister of Education in 1980, and guess what? I was born in 1980. For me, it's an honor really to be able to come to celebrate her life. She is known across Jamaica for the work that she did. She focused a lot on nutrition. And I've been able to take up that mantle in terms of ensuring that our children do not go to school hungry. She started it, and I'm trying to just work in her footsteps. And in addition to that, in terms of our education system, so many changes were done during the 1980s in order to get us to where we are, especially with literacy programs and other infrastructure programs across the education system. And so I think for all of us younger ones, it's important that we understand the history that came before us so that we can take that legacy and we can build on it. And Dr. Gilmore was just telling me that being Minister of Education is hard. And I said, it is extremely hard. But then she said something that was so powerful. She said to me just now, if it's not hard, it's not worth working for. And so I thank you for that word. I thank you again for letting me celebrate with you for 100 years that God has given you to us. And we are grateful as a country. The Prime Minister, we're having cabinet now. The Prime Minister sent his birthday greetings, and the entire cabinet want to wish you a wonderful 100th birthday, and we pray that God will continue to bless you and keep you.
He is the Prime Minister, my friend, and I wish him all the success for the rest of his time.
Thank you. Thank you. Happy birthday. Thank you.
There you have it. Yes. We want our listeners and viewers to know, those of us who don't know, that one of our icons, Ernest Smith, that, yes, that he has been hospitalized, and his wife and relatives are asking for his prayers. Yes. Smith was hospitalized yesterday, I think, or Tuesday. Yes, sir. In Florida. So we want you to pray for him. Ernest Smith. You remember Ram Goat Liver? He was one of our stars during the 70s, and we must never forget. Yes, we want you to look at this other video, why the U.S. feared Jamaica in the 70s. You remember that during the 70s, under the Manley administration, this country went through a number of struggles. Well, here is a video explaining why America feared Jamaica.
It is December 1975. Henry Kissinger, the most powerful diplomat on the planet, is on vacation in Jamaica. He is not staying in some modest government guest house. He is settled into a sprawling private plantation on the island's north shore in Ocho Rios, enjoying the sun, the breeze, and the blue water of the Caribbean Sea. But Henry Kissinger does not truly go on vacation, not when the world is on fire. Thousands of miles away, Cuban soldiers are marching through Angola, pushing back a South African army that had invaded from the south. The Cold War had just opened a new front on the African continent, and Washington was furious. Kissinger needed allies. He needed countries to stand up at the United Nations and condemn Cuba. He needed the Caribbean to fall in line the way it always had. So he arranged a lunch, a private meeting at Jamaica House with the Jamaican Prime Minister. The man across the table from him was Michael Manley, educated at the London School of Economics, son of Jamaica's founding father. a man who had swept into power 3 years earlier on a wave of hope so large it could have filled a stadium. A man the poor of Jamaica loved the way they loved a prophet. A man who, at that very moment, was quietly building the most dangerous thing Washington had ever seen in the Caribbean. A small island nation that believed it had the right to think for itself. Kissinger laid out the terms. Jamaica needed to denounce Cuba's intervention in Angola. In return, a $100 million line of credit was on the table. $100 million. For a young nation only 13 years out of British colonial rule, bleeding in foreign exchange, hammered by the 1973 oil crisis, that money was not just significant, it was survival. Manley looked across the table at the most powerful Secretary of State in the world, and he said no. He told Kissinger that Cuba was the only force standing between a free Angola and the advancing army of apartheid South Africa. He told him this was not about communism. This was about the liberation of black people on the African continent. He said Jamaica had no choice but to stand on the right side of history. The moment Manley walked away from that lunch, the $100 million line of credit, in Manley's own words, simply evaporated. And what followed in the years ahead would shake this island to its foundations, leave blood in its streets, and force a question that still has no clean answer to this day. Why did the United States of America fear a tiny Caribbean island with no army, no nuclear weapons, and no oil? And what exactly did they do about it? That is what this story is about. To understand what happened, you have to understand who Michael Manley was and what he was trying to build. He was born on December 10, 1924, into Jamaican political royalty. His father, Norman Washington Manley, was one of the architects of Jamaica's independence movement, the founder of the People's National Party. A man whose face would eventually grace the Jamaican $500 bill. Growing up in that household meant growing up surrounded by conversations about justice, sovereignty, and what it meant for a colonized people to finally stand on their own feet. Michael Manley went further. He studied at the London School of Economics, where he absorbed the ideas of Fabian socialism, the writings of Harold Lasky, and a worldview that believed capitalism as it existed was structurally designed to keep the global South in permanent poverty. He came back to Jamaica not as a theorist but as a fighter. He organized workers. He built the National Workers' Union into a force. He understood, in a way few Caribbean politicians had articulated before him, that independence meant nothing if the same foreign companies still owned the land, still controlled the minerals, still extracted the wealth and sent it north. By the early 1970s, Jamaica was a country with a simmering wound. The economy had grown through the 1960s on the strength of bauxite mining and tourism, but the growth had not reached ordinary Jamaicans. Between 1962 and 1972, unemployment rose from 13% to 24%. The share of income going to the poorest 40% of the population had actually declined. The gap between the few families who owned most of the island's wealth and the masses living in zinc-roofed yards in West Kingston was not closing. It was widening. When Michael Manley stood before crowds in 1972 with a wooden staff he called the Rod of Correction, claiming it had been given to him by the Ethiopian Emperor Haile Selassie himself, those crowds did not just cheer a politician. They screamed for a savior. His slogan was simple: better must come, and the people believed him. He won the February 1972 general election in a landslide, taking 37 of 53 parliamentary seats. The People's National Party was in power, and Michael Manley moved immediately to make good on his promises. He introduced a minimum wage. He built new schools. He launched literacy programs at a time when, by some estimates, nearly 80% of the Jamaican population was functionally illiterate, a direct legacy of British colonial neglect. He expanded access to health care and housing for the rural and urban poor. He gave domestic workers legal protections for the first time in Jamaican history. He established equal pay legislation. He pushed a land reform program to break up the enormous sugar plantations that had defined this island since the days of slavery. In September 1974, he stood before the nation and officially declared Jamaica a country of democratic socialism. These were not small gestures, these were structural changes, and they terrified the people who had been comfortable under the old arrangement. The Jamaican business elite began to panic. Foreign investors started pulling capital out. The professional class, doctors, lawyers, engineers, began emigrating in large numbers, mostly to the United States and Canada. The local media, largely owned by conservative interests, began painting Manley not as a reformer, but as a communist in disguise. The word socialism, no matter that Manley explicitly and publicly rejected communism at every opportunity, no matter that he told voters in 1972, in his own words, that he was opposed to communism passionately, became a weapon used against him daily. But none of that was what truly alarmed Washington. What alarmed Washington was the bauxite levy. Jamaica sat on some of the largest bauxite reserves in the world. Bauxite is the raw material from which aluminum is made, and aluminum in the 1970s was critical to American aerospace and defense manufacturing. For decades, massive American and Canadian aluminum corporations had been mining Jamaican bauxite under agreements that paid the Jamaican government almost nothing. The royalty rates were so low they were an embarrassment. Jamaica was handing over its most valuable natural resource at prices that reflected colonial-era power dynamics, not sovereign economic reality. In 1974, Manley changed that. His government renegotiated the agreements with the aluminum companies and imposed the bauxite levy, a production tax that dramatically increased the revenue Jamaica received for every ton of bauxite extracted from its soil. The revenues increased by nearly 600% almost overnight. Manley used that money to fund his social programs, to build schools, to staff health clinics. The U.S. State Department noted this development warily. It was not the first time a global South leader had tried to reclaim resource revenues, and it would not be the last. But here was a black leader of a tiny Caribbean island daring to say to American multinational corporations, "You are not taking our wealth for free anymore." The alarm bells in Washington began to sound quietly. Then came Angola, and everything changed. In 1975, Angola was fighting for its future. Three rival liberation movements were competing for control of the country as Portuguese colonial rule collapsed. Cuba had backed the MPLA, the Marxist movement led by Agostinho Neto. South Africa, with CIA support, had backed Neto's rivals and launched a full military invasion from the south, its forces advancing 500 miles into Angolan territory toward the capital Luanda. If Luanda fell, apartheid South Africa would have a foothold in Central Africa. The consequences for the entire continent were staggering. Cuba made what Manley would later call one of the bravest decisions in history. Fidel Castro deployed Cuban combat troops to Angola. They were not enough to stop the South Africans by themselves, but they were enough to force a confrontation that changed the calculation. The South African commanders, facing organized resistance, pulled back. Angola was saved. Neto's government survived. Manley looked at what had happened and made a moral judgment. He saw Cuba as having stopped a white supremacist army from carving up an African nation. He supported Cuba's intervention openly and publicly. He told Kissinger directly, this was not anti-American politics. This was anti-apartheid. This was the side of freedom. Kissinger did not see it that way. And in the months that followed that December 1975 lunch at Jamaica House, Washington's relationship with Kingston entered a new and darker phase. The $100 million line of credit vanished. By March 1976, the U.S. press, led by prominent outlets with close ties to Kissinger, began running a sustained campaign of negative coverage about Jamaica. Articles portrayed the island as violent, as slipping toward communism, as unsafe for tourists and investors. American travelers stopped coming. Tourism revenues collapsed. The foreign exchange crisis that had already been tightening around Jamaica's throat now became a stranglehold. And in the dark corners, where governments do things they do not want history to record, something far more dangerous was being assembled. For years, the destabilization of Jamaica in the 1970s was dismissed as conspiracy theory, as the paranoid accusations of a leftist government looking for someone to blame for its own failures. But the documents do not lie. Beginning in 1975, the CIA launched what declassified records now confirm was an extensive and sophisticated covert operation against the Manley government. The operation did not end with one administration. It was started under Henry Kissinger and continued and expanded by Zbigniew Brzezinski, President Carter's national security advisor, making clear this was not a rogue operation. It was official American policy. A document dated July 21, 1980, written by National Security Council staff member Robert Pastor to Brzezinski, and later declassified, laid out the full scope of what the CIA had been doing in Jamaica. The document described a covert campaign that included funding media organizations to spread anti-Manley propaganda, directly financing the opposition Jamaica Labour Party, providing the JLP's leadership with strategic political guidance, funding and influencing the Jamaican military and police, and using an international network of covert assets to publicly condemn Manley's ties to Cuba and the Soviet Union. Read that again. The United States government was paying Jamaican media to tell Jamaican people what to think. It was funding the political party running against the elected government. It was advising that party on how to win. And it was doing all of this while publicly denying any involvement in Jamaica's internal affairs. In July 1980, an editor from the Washington-based Covert Action Information Bulletin held a press conference in Kingston and publicly identified 15 Americans by name, address, and vehicle license plate as CIA agents operating in Jamaica. 2 days later, the home of the man identified as the CIA station chief in Kingston was bombed and shot at. Within weeks, the families of at least 6 of the 15 identified agents had quietly left the island. Former CIA case officer Philip Agee stated on the record that the CIA supplied arms to supporters of the Jamaica Labour Party. And the evidence suggests the political violence that turned Jamaican streets into war zones was not simply organic. It was watered. What was the CIA actually afraid of? The declassified documents reveal something that goes deeper than communism. According to the State Department records, American policymakers were alarmed by the way Manley's democratic socialism was highlighting class distinctions and empowering black Jamaicans. They feared this model could spread across the Caribbean. The threat was not a Soviet missile base. The threat was the idea itself. The idea that a black Caribbean nation could redistribute wealth, reclaim its resources, and stand as an equal among nations. If Jamaica proved it was possible, who would be next? Barbados, Trinidad, Guyana.
It's the Everybody Sale at New Budget Supplies. Do-it-yourself professionals and contractors. This is the sale for you. Lumber, steel, dress and form ply, water tanks, pumps, PVC pipes and fittings, toilets, bathtubs, vanities and basins, windows, paint, doors, floor and wall tiles, thin sets and grout. Up to 20% off selected items. 195 Hagleyburg Road. Telephone 923-4560. New Budget Supplies. Always the best prices.
Tools, hardware, and supplies is holding up the heat this summer with their super saving summer sale. Prices are slashed on everything you need to fix up your home. Beautiful tiles, sleek doors, top quality windows, modern sanitary ware, exclusive flooring, and more. At Tools, hardware, and supplies, we have you covered for the summer.
So come visit us at 279 Spanish Town Road, 4 South Camp Road, 8 Red Hills Road,
or online at toolsja.com.
Tools!
The Lion King of Hardware.
Yes. Good evening again and welcome back to Rebel Radio. Yes. We're going over to St. Ann now to have a talk with the mayor of St. Ann's Bay, Councillor Michael Bell Navis. Good evening, Mayor.
Good evening. How are you doing? You and your listeners?
Well, I am supposed to be okay, sir. How are you?
Yeah. I'm doing well. Considering what we're going through here in St. Ann after the Easter holidays, for how getting things back on track. It was a great time for us from a new industry that we've just spawned, which is the entertainment industry. And of course, Ocho being the entertainment capital of Jamaica. We had so many carnival events, over 200 and added events this Easter weekend. 200? It was fantastic.
200?
Over 220, yeah, we had 220 applications for entertainment license.
Wow.
That would be those individuals who are looking to have various events throughout the parish. Some were large, some were mom and pop, and some were very, very, weekend had 6 events all in one weekend. Thousands of people were packed into various events. And so, it varied depending on where you go. But there were a lot of individuals who had their parties and, $2,000 and so on. Somewhere, but the spectrum moved from $2,000 and $1,000 to, $200-300 US to get it.
Okay.
So, and of course, Carnival in Kingston.
Yes.
It was the crescendo. But we would love to, if I can carry the argument that way, would love to see how Ocherius can move into the carnival business also, because we don't have any carnival this side. There's a couple events. I'm talking about the trucks and the motorcades and the escapades and the costumes and so on. And that level of carnival, we didn't have anything like in Ocherius. And I believe that we're now ripe and ready for that type of extravaganza.
Okay. Below that, though, Councillor, what is happening to your restoration? How are the people, or the life of the people, the post-hurricane restoration?
Post-hurricane?
Yes.
Yeah? Yes. Well, for the most part, everybody's back to normal. I mean, if you look at the landscape, everybody have got their roof pretty much on target. You do have a couple tarpaulins here and there, but the Ministry of Labor and Social Security, plus the churches, plus individuals who were able to come into the space, have really helped out significantly in terms of replacing the individual roofs that were blown off. A lot of roofs went, but we were able to work together as one community to make it happen for pretty much everyone. Because even at our over by our infirmary, we lost the roof. There's several buildings there, and we lost the roof of pretty much the entire infirmary. And we were able to put it back. We got some support from bauxite miners, from our own resources, and we were able to move support from the ministry initially because we didn't want to wait for the bureaucracy, but we need to we have a fiduciary responsibility to the residents, so we had to get that contract right away because they were at Marcus Garvey School, in the so we had to get that going right away. So we did the repairs and moved them back into the infirmary, and in record time, within a matter of 2 weeks. So we had to have a brand new window, and everybody's back at the infirmary. So yes, when you look at the hospital, we have the roof at the dietary, and currently working on that. That one is done to Ministry of Health, NERA. And you look around, a lot of the government, the Ministry of Corporation, where damages were repaired, those. So everything has pretty much been. We didn't wait on anyone in St. Anne. We just moved on it, and that was the reason why we're able to be the first after the hurricane.
Yeah. But I don't know if you know. I have been getting some reports out of K Valley.
Yes.
Where there are lots of complaints there, the people have reported to me and nothing has happened.
There has been. There's K Valley had a lot of water damage because the water really came and covered the gas station, and it was really. I would say it's about 25 feet of water.
Yes.
We were able to deal with all the government, the bus sheds and all of that stuff, so right there. And those individuals who lost their roof, there's this roofs, ROFS program from the ministry that they were able to, they could have were able to get support there. I know the councillors from that area, Councillor Brown, Councillor Thompson, and they were able to get some support, and have the will, there is a way, because Ministry of Labour was giving out several hundred thousand, several thousand, and small amounts, big amounts, depending on the extent of the damage. And all you have to do is go and sign up, or go through the councillor and sign up, and they will come and evaluate the situation and made the payments, and they're doing payouts right now as we speak. So nobody should be disenfranchised. As long as you can prove that you have ownership in the structure, they'll pay you.
Yes.
Remember, Jamaica is a socialist country. Government, pretty much everything is give out to the people. Education is free, medical is free. And it goes. We have what they call it again? Money every month. Pass. You get pass program for you. Yeah. We have drop-ins for those people who are homeless, and they can stay there. And we have put a night piece component to it where you can sleep over, so you can get food, medical, change of clothing, a shower, all provided by government. Although it's only in Ocho, but notwithstanding that exists, and in infirmaries we have fiduciary responsibility to those people who are at the infirmary, who can't take care of themselves and so on, and provide care. There's 200 people right in that space alone. So when you consider the responsibilities that we have, it's significant as a municipal corporation. We have a lot of people who we take care of. A lot of people don't know that because they just figure that that it exists, but somebody has to be there to take care of them, manage the place, deal with all the situations, and that is what we do as a municipal corporation. Yeah, and because of that, we have that heart, and that heart is created, because you're dealing with the lowest in the society, and we take care of them. As a matter of fact, the other day I was at the hospital, and there's one of the residents, all those people who are at the drop-in center or the infirmary, call them residents. Right? They were at the hospital, and You know, they had a nurse from the infirmary sat on a chair beside her, right through the day and right through the night. And I know you can't get your family member to sit beside you right through the day and right through the night, but busy and so on.
No,
you know, and the responsibility. Yeah, that's a responsibility that the state has to these people at the, infirmary. So they get good care. You know, they get really good care. So it's just that we don't have enough space.
There was no bed for this patient. Why the nurse, or she was in her bed and the nurse was at her bedside?
No, man, she was in a bed, but the nurse was at the bedside.
Okay.
So it's the nurse sit at the chair at the bedside. So I said to her, you know, you can't go and say, no, Mr. Bell, I have to be here right through. And they do in shift. So as soon as, you know, after, I guess, 8 hours or whatever, they usually another one comes and, you know, right through the night, and the one is in the day and so on. So, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And for the 80-something residents, you know, like 20-something nurses, and plus you have chefs and kind of cooking in a nice state-of-the-art kitchen. Looks like in a hotel. With all the big wood stove and stainless steel equipment, and it's good food to really, tasty. It's not chicken back and thing and some of them.
Okay. What is happening at the Brownstone market? I see we have in a telephone.
And it's, you know, food that you know, that can sustain you.
Okay.
Yeah, you should do it for one day. You'll be impressed.
Yeah.
I mean, it's depressing when you look at the individuals that are there and, you know, there for a life. I mean, they're there for life, you know. Once they're there, they live there till they die.
Okay.
So that part of it is depressing. But when you look at the infrastructure that is in place and the amount of people, the doctors come in to, you know, and give them, you know, okay and checkups and all that type of stuff. So when you go through all of that, you realize that yes, you know, Jamaica is really a great place to be.
Yes. What is happening at the
because if you're in the States, you couldn't have this type of treatment. Trust me, you'd have to pay for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is happening at the Brownstone market? I hear some vendors complaining.
You know, we have issues in Brownstone because what somebody did, the meter didn't care correct. They have somebody went ahead and put the stormwater drain into the septic because it didn't run by their stall. So when it rains, it goes into the septic and overflow the septic.
Okay.
So we have had to deal with the situation. But they were repairing the toilets, sanitary conveniences, and just did Tenants Bay and Watcherest. They're doing it in Brownstone now. So Brownstone has its issue. It's been sorted out. And then there's the issue with the irregular land and the water. You know, they keep the water and so on because, you know, they keep, once you put the infrastructure, tap into it. Because when they go in the bathroom, they fill out these buckets and so on. So we get light bills and the water bill are in the millions every month.
Whoa.
And it's not like GPS you have to pay it just like anybody, so they lock it off.
Yes.
So every now and then it gets out of hand and a GPS comes out, they have to make an arrangement. Just like you and I, if you don't pay this make a payment plan. So the Municipal Corporation make a plan too, because sometimes you just get a spike, and when you check it out, it's a whole lot of tap into the system. So it throws the budget out, and you know, so it's a cat and mouse game when it comes to that. So the challenge is that arena, but it's not that the facilities aren't progressive, and its facilities is in shape. People there, the market is a great market. I lived in Brownstone for well over 15 years. Upstairs the supermarket, so I'm familiar with the town. And the market is a great market. It's one of the larger markets in Jamaica, and certainly it's in St. Anne, it is, I think, next to Otis is the largest. But the thing about Brownstone is that they all do their marketing, selling their wares, their fruits and vegetables, and they have the meat shop or the meat market, and they have the haberdashery section and so on. They all did pretty much under the roof of the market. But in Otis, everybody wants to be in your face on the roadside. So that is it. To get the people off the streets and so on. So as you get them off, as they come back. So you have to have people maintaining and watching and so on. So it's a cat and mouse game. We're out there. As soon as we shift and go somewhere else, they come back. Because it's lucrative business.
Yes.
Yeah, it's lucrative business. Yeah. Or they wouldn't be doing because vendors know what.
You see, you live in Brownstone for us time. You know that there was a historic that courthouse that was burnt down is an historical building. You know. What?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. UNESCO, one of the UNESCO buildings that they have, I think, because of the architecture. It's a stone building.
Yes.
And those buildings that reflected the Georgian look of the time, of its age, of its time, back in the day from the 18 something.
Yes.
The one in St. Anne's Bay is 1880. So that is at the turn of 2 cents. So it is, those buildings are to be preserved. I think they want to preserve it, so it's going to be rebuilt in a similar look and feel. But the building that they've, the Ministry of Justice, they went ahead and did some renovations and put in a nice modern courthouse by Addison Park in Brownstone. So I believe that is going to be there for a while. The other building might just be there in a monument as to what was. So the history buffs and those historians can really see and feel and touch what was, and look at the architects, and they can study architecture and so on. Because the stone building, just the roof that really went.
Yes,
it was a zinc type. But the structure is still there, and the flooring and so on, and they've cleaned it up nicely. So it is still there.
Okay. Yes. So overall, Mayor, what would you say then? Your municipality, or how would you describe it at the moment?
Well, the councillors are militant in their divisions. I'm impressed with their militancy. They've really matured nicely over the years, and they're doing good representation on both sides. So I'm encouraging that, and whenever I see the councillors lazing it out, I would put them in a spot and say, look, you need to talk and this type of thing, because sometimes by talking things get done. And I would dare say that in this St. Anne Municipal Corporation, we're getting things done. And there's a whole myriad of things that we have a lot of roads that are being done, and the numbers speak for themselves. A lot of drains have been cleaned. As a matter of fact, we don't have much flooding because we're usually proactive. Just today, we're giving every division money to do drain cleaning to ensure that season we are ready, as we did last year. That's why we're able to deal with the flooding situation. Of course, the roads, each councillor gets us for his division 4.5 million times 2 for the year, so roads can be repaired, and they just have to choose the ones that are critical. We just give out street lights to councillors, 50 per division, street signs, so people don't get lost, because the area is becoming very urban, so signs are becoming more and more critical. In addition to that, we're looking at the play fields, the cemeteries. We gave out 5 cemeteries will be cut this month, and St. Anne's Bay, the major one, was just cut last month. In addition to that, we have a responsibility to ensure that we collect the various taxes and so on throughout the parish. We have the truck, we have a bus, a tax bus that we go and collect property tax. They were vouchers by the clock last week, and we'll go to and we're up to 100% in certain places. We had the report today at the finance committee meeting, and we were able to get things done in that arena. So I think we're leading the country in terms of tax collection, property tax, that is.
Yeah.
So that we're responsible for that. And of course, there's cars in the space now. So we talk about the licensing of motor vehicles and so on. That is comes to us partially also, and we use that for our PF, which is a parochial revenue fund, to us to do work in the various divisions. And that is coming along nicely. The numbers have been pretty encouraging since the hurricane. I thought it was going to fall off, but it has not fallen off. The tourism product is doing well. As we speak, a full Bahia Principe is back on track. A couple of hundred people right there are back to work. Just at that facility alone, we have thousands throughout all the hotels, and the Airbnbs are blue. A lot of people are using the Airbnbs, and and the rates are on the higher side of Jamaica, right here in St. Ann. So I would say St. Ann right now is a great place to be. If you're looking to invest, here's a place to invest because things are really moving. Crime is down, but what I noticed is that whilst crime is down, there are a lot of people moving into the space, and it's creating mayhem because the issues that we're associated right now, robberies, the killing, even the killing that went on the other day of the quote-unquote Juta driver. He's not a Juta driver. He's a driver that operates like a Juta driver.
Okay.
Right? Because he's not within the formal system, and it's alleged that there are issues with him. Right? So, notwithstanding that, so we have to understand where we are right now in terms of the space, because even a lot of the vending, see vans park up and pull up and they fly the trunk. They're weird. And they come Spanish Town, they're from downtown Kingston, they're from all over. When you check the ID, I asked him, I said, hey, where are you from? Because I know everybody. So I don't know you. I check them ID. Yeah, man. They might tell the one, said, yeah, man, from Bucksfield. But I said, no, I check ID. Some part of downtown Kingston. They come, and they create, I said, man, because they just leave the garbage there and they park up anywhere, and so there's a resentment from the Ochi people, St. Ann's Bay people. St. Ann's Bay less so, because St. Ann's Bay has more indigenous people. Brownstown, they create the roadblocks because of the congestion and so on. So people want to, they like, and Brownstown has always been tight and small.
Yes.
So they want to enjoy their space. They want to enjoy the space. It's all country folks, but I see urbanization coming to them, and because if you go through Jacksall and so on, that don't look like country. No. Looks very urban, very modern.
Yes.
Yeah, that's almost first world. Yeah, looks very first world actually.
Yes.
And when the roads are white and so on, and that infrastructure comes in, that entire space is going to be, an eye opener. When in terms of the look and feel, the quality of the buildings, the facades that's going on to these buildings, the LED lights, and when you look at the quality of the businesses, they're all the big major businesses from Kingston who are looking to expand their horizons along the North Coast, and it's right there, KFC, the courts, and all the paint companies and nightclubs, and I've opened so many entities in the year, because they're all from basically Kingston, and then you have these developments that are going on. We think that's our local guys that are doing it, but they're not. It's not 10, 20 hours, 100 homes, 500, 300, 200, you know, right through from Discovery all the way down to Orchards.
I want you, it's one thing, though, me. I want you to notice that there are still thousands of Jamaicans in St. Ann and Billy, who don't have access to a precious commodity, water.
Yes, that's an issue. I know Matthew Samuel is working on that. We have a truck that we bought just to deal with some of those issues in the hills of St. Ann. Along the coast, the issues aren't really there.
No.
But when you go off the beaten path, it is significant. Brownstone, they replaced the pump. And I tell you, one of the reasons why I moved from Brownstone down to the coast was that water situation.
Yes.
Months at a time, you wouldn't have any.
Yes.
But so, you know, you'd have to go down to the coast and go get a whole shower at a hotel or a guest house sometimes. Because the bath pan thing, I got old. And somehow, if you have a tank, somehow the water keeps running out. It's like it's the weirdest thing, right? So, and pretty much everybody has a tank, but there's a difference between tank water and NWC water, you know, or from water from rural water. So there has to be a concerted effort by rural water and NWC to ensure that the supply is modern and new. Because there are a lot of rivers and streams in St. Ann, you know, it's 8 rivers, Orchards, and a lot of rivers. So it's not water is really the water.
Shortage of water is getting the water to the people.
That is exactly right. The pumping of it is hilly, and you know. So and then the thing is that nobody wants to pay the water because it's a use of free water. Okay, I've an area in Pimento Walk that when I went, I was able to get water for them because there was no water up there. And I got the water, and now everybody wants to pay the water bill. You know, they want the free water because they were getting water from. They weren't getting the water, but you know they were getting. There's a river just down the hill, so they were getting water from the river through buckets and drums and stuff like that. So they have a choice, but know that it's in the pipes and so on, you know. But that's a challenge, and we did same thing with Harrison. You know, they want the water, but they're reluctant to pay for it.
Yes.
I wouldn't say willing, but they're like a reluctance. You know, so you have that. Because it's a kind of mindset when in the districts, water, light, things like that. I believe they feel that it should be part of the social infrastructure also. Okay. It's not like in the schemes and so on where people expect, because you have a gated community, expect the water, the light, and so on is part of your monthly expenditure. You know, it's a different mindset, and so on. Yeah, but those are the social issues that we have and we have to deal with. I guess over time it will sort itself out. You know, as it becomes more available and more relevant. Okay. Because the thing is that people, if the service is consistent and reliable, and you know, people I guess will pay for it, because a lot of times it's on today, it's off tomorrow. You know, that type of thing. Because the pump don't work and the pump burn out, and you know, people steal the pump. The man, you know, can sabotage on the pump because it's just there. You know.
Yeah.
People will protect it because.
Well, oh yes.
Yes.
Well, Mayor, I want to thank you very much for your time and wish you all the best. Hope you continue to manage that municipality there, and we observe that St. Ann is growing. So your responsibility is getting bigger and bigger. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you so much. I'm glad I chose St. Anne to be my home. A great place to be. And if you want to invest now, because 10 years ago I said that this was the best place to invest in. It was who did. I see their property value double and triple. Okay.
All right, Mayor Bel-Nevis. Thank you very much, sir. That was Mayor of St. Anne's Bay there, Mayor Bel-Nevis, telling us about what is happening in St. Anne. All right, let us take a break. This is Rebel Radio.
It's the Everybody Sale at New Budget Supplies. Do-it-yourself professionals and contractors. This is the sale for you. Lumber, steel, dress and form ply, water tanks, pumps, PVC pipes and fittings, toilets, bathtubs, vanities and basins, windows, paint, doors, floor and wall tiles, thin sets and grout. Up to 20% off selected items. 195 Hagleyburg Road. Telephone 923-4560. New Budget Supplies. Always the best prices.
Tools, hardware, and supplies is turning up the heat this summer with their super saving summer sale. Prices are slashed on everything you need to fix up your home. Beautiful tiles, sleek doors, top quality windows, modern sanitary ware, exclusive flooring, and more. At Tools, hardware, and supplies, we have you covered for the summer.
So come visit us at 279 Spanish Town Road, 4 South Camp Road, 8 Red Hills Road,
or online at toolsja.com.
Tools!
The Lion King of Hardware. Lord, I'm ready. Lord, I'm ready. I'm ready. Lord, I'm ready for you calling. I know you will let me when I'm falling. With all the obstacles that's in my way, you move them all away. Lord, I'm ready for you calling. I know you will let me when I'm falling. With all the obstacles that's in my way, you move them all away. Your grace is all that carries me to the dark. You shine your light so I can see. Even when I was down on my knees, you said make you free. Lord, you bring my shield from my enemies. In your loving home, that's where I got to be. To stay within your grace for the rest of my day. Lord, I'm ready for you calling. I know you will let me when I'm falling. With all the obstacles that's in my way, you move them all away. Lord, I'm ready for you calling. I know you will let me when I'm falling. With all the obstacles that's in my way, oh gosh, you move them all away. Lord, I turn to you when I'm in need. Your love is just like the air I breathe. Heavenly Father, you're truly a friend indeed. There is so much that I got to say. I could go on about you every day. Your name I will always praise for the rest of my days. Rest of my days.
Welcome back to Rebel Radio. Yes, we're going over to Bahamas now, and you know that elections are coming up next month in Bahamas. Yes, and we are trying to, you know, we are at Rebel Radio, we try to keep in touch with what is happening to our Caribbean people, because remember, we are one people. So we are going to be trying to find out what is happening now, how preparations are going on. We have with us broadcaster. I have a broadcaster with me here, Christian Jones, today. Good afternoon, Mr. Jones.
Good afternoon, Mr. Richards. How are you?
Well, I am supposed to be okay today, sir. Yes. Now, how is it in
That's good.
How is it in Bahamas today?
Well, today is warm, feels like about 75 or 76 degrees, and we're once again, by God's grace, in the land of the living, so I guess we should be okay too.
Okay, all right. And I know that the politicians are on the hustings now because they are preparing for elections. And how are the people taking those elections?
Well, Mr. Richards, I believe that Bahamians, and let me just say that Bahamians have always been, people who believe in voting, who believe in elections, who believe in exercising their democratic right to vote in or to vote out a government. We see in this case now, to date, registration has been going on for a few weeks, and what we hear from the representatives at the Parliamentary Registration Department here in Nassau is that there are more people registered as of last week, than ever before in Bahamian history. And especially when we look at youth, at young people, at first-time voters, a lot of people, Mr. Richards, are excited to go to the polls on May the 12th. To elect their member of parliament or to re-elect their member of parliament. In some cases, tomorrow, April 16th, happens to be nomination day here. So we have a lot of candidates and a lot of persons, supporters of candidates, who are expected to go out to the nomination centers tomorrow to support their candidates.
Well, yes, that is good news to know that the people are preparing themselves for the elections. Yes, and just tell my listeners about the Bahamian Parliament. How many seats are in the Bahamian Parliament?
There are currently 41 seats in the Bahamian Parliament. It used to be 39. There's been the addition this year, this election, of a new 2 seats. 2 larger constituencies that were separated or split into 2 new constituencies. So 41 in total.
Okay, yes. And the ruling party is how many the ruling party got the last election?
The ruling party in the last election would have gotten, I believe off the top of my head, somewhere around 32 or 33 seats. I believe 33 seats to the Free National Movement, which retained 6 seats.
Okay. All right. So you would say, well, clearly the ruling party was in charge to a large extent the last election, but although you have not done any poll, the reports I'm getting suggest that the ruling party is going to retain power. Is that what you have seen over there?
Well, Mr. Richards, that's very, very interesting. We've seen elections, and you talk about the last one when the government would have had, they would have won big, and this is following Hurricane Dorian, which was in 2019 the roughest hurricane, the most devastating hurricane we've ever had in our country. You're talking about somewhere around $2 billion in damages, thousands of people who would have lost their lives in that hurricane. And then you had the COVID-19 crisis, which in itself posed difficulties for governments around the world, but specifically the issues that the Menace administration in the Bahamas faced contributed greatly to, I think, this large victory that we saw that the Progressive Liberal Party, the government of the day in the Bahamas, that they would have gotten in the last general election. Now, when we look at this general election and the issues, of course, that have come into play, the support I just finished on my program, on my radio program earlier today, talking about how to date there is no prime minister, I think, of our country, with the exception of Sir Lyndon Pinling, who enjoyed such popularity at this point in their term. Usually at this point, 4.5, almost 5 years into the 5-year term, that you find that people are usually in our country ready to throw the government out, that governments become at this point very unpopular. I was at an event last evening in a residential community. I watched the Prime Minister stand up, shake hands, take pictures for about half hour continuously. And this was a small meet and greet gathering for that constituency. There are a lot of people, I believe, who think that the government deserves another term, and certainly when we look at it from this position of national development that a lot of people have looked at it from over the last 30 years, we have not had an administration that has done 2 successive terms. They've always been, or there's been this flip-flop, this pendulum that has swung between the PLP and the FNM, and the greatest victim of that has been really our national development, really the consistency in policies. You have some governments who have come to power with a position or with a policy of stop, review, and cancel. Some of the policies or some of the initiatives that other governments have started before them. There's a movement of Bahamians who believe that it is in the best interest of our country to give Mr. Davis another term. And you have a lot of people, I believe, who at the same time would like to give a younger generation or a newer cohort of politicians a chance. But at this point, I believe that Mr. Davis, once again, based off of the popularity, has very good chance at breaking this 30-year-old trend and getting a second term from the Bahamian people.
Wow, yes, okay, I see. And from where you sit, sir, that is where you said a lot of Bahamians, that would mean that the government's policy so far has been approved by a lot of Bahamians.
Well, yes, I guess yes and no. I mean, you have some people who I think wanted the administration to go much further when it comes to issues of government accountability, transparency. We've had issues, of course, in a healthcare system that's been under stress and pressure for some time, highlighted during the COVID-19 crisis. The issues that we've seen play out in another one of our sister countries in Haiti has exacerbated the immigration situation. Not only in the Bahamas and Turks and Caicos and all sorts of surrounding countries in our region as well. And these are issues that a lot of people have looked at and still believe that there's need for some sort of policy shift or for different ideas. The government has unveiled at least ideas and policies. Persons have asked the question, well, why are these policies not being done now? There are a lot of people that grant concessions to Mr. Davis and his administration for what they faced when they came into power. Issues with the country's finances and uncertainty on that end. You talk about reopening the country after the economy almost fully dependent on tourism. Would have reopened following the 2021 election. and really a lot of the other things that Mr. Davis has done. I remember early on in this tenure, you had the former Prime Minister, Mr. Ingram, who had said that the Progressive Liberal Party is just grabbing at the low-hanging fruit. And at that point, the things that were being done by Mr. Davis at the point were really what the country needed. But, some people believe that he should have really seemed to attach himself, I think, to larger issues, larger policy issues and causes. But there are a lot of people who believe that the Prime Minister has done a good job on executing the policies. The Progressive Liberal Party, the government to date, asserts that out of about 89 promises rather, that they have accomplished about 85 out of those 89. And the last point that I'll make on that too, sorry, Mr. Richards, which I think is an interesting point, is we've had 2 intervening by-elections since the last general election. Mr. Davis has had 2 cabinet ministers who have died in office. One of them being Mr. Obi Wilchcombe, who was a former social services minister. He passed away back in, I think it was 2023. And then last year you had Mr. Vaughn Miller, who was Mr. Davis's environment minister, who passed away, precipitating 2 by-elections that the opposition, the Free National Movement, have lost. It's also been telling in past elections, and it's sort of forecasted general elections, how parties fare in by-elections. And looking at the one last year, November, very close to this general election, the Free National Movement did not win an election that they perhaps should have won on paper.
Okay. Yeah. So, from where you sit, sir, what are the main issues affecting the lives of the people, and what are the people talking about mostly?
Okay. Well, see, what I think is very important to look at in our country, Mr. Richards, when it comes to the issues, I just gave an interview a couple of weeks back with some students from the University of the Bahamas who were doing some projects on broadcasting. Right. And they wanted to know, in terms of radio, in terms of persons who host talk shows, who are getting responses from Bahamians on live issues, sort of their thought process in dealing with a lot of these issues. A lot of people who I've spoken to say that the issues come down to, of course, some that I've mentioned already. Mention them again. Immigration is one. We've had some issues. There have been some comments asserted by the leader of the opposition in terms of passport fraud, fraud in terms of voters' cards, other documents in our country, and some of those assertions he has not proven. However, we have seen 1 or 2 or some isolated cases which have been under investigation. There have been persons that have been charged, but it certainly does cause some concern when we talk about persons falsifying Bahamian documents. It's allowed opposition voices to sort of drum up this speculation, this concern about the election, about the safety of the election, and whether or not there can be persons who are voting in this election who shouldn't be voting in this election. Healthcare, as I mentioned, a big issue. Housing, there are many persons who are really trying to find housing. What it really is, or what the issue in housing really comes down to, I think, is an issue of affordability in the Bahamas. A 1-bedroom apartment costs you $1,000, and that's $1,000 BSD pegged to the US dollar. That's a lot of money, especially for a person who is making it on a minimum wage salary. And then we come, which I think has to be the number one issue for a lot of Bahamians. They ask themselves the question, are you in a better position than you were 4.5, 5 years ago? The leader of the opposition has also asked people to ask themselves that question, to assess, what is going on with the economy, whether or not they're feeling the economy, whether or not the Davis administration has attracted enough foreign direct investment, whether they have contributed to the diversification of industry in the Bahamas, whether they've put people to work. And what is also interesting, another issue that I think some people have allowed to sort of overshadow or eclipse the other issues that are at play here. I've interviewed quite a few candidates from both the Progressive Liberal Party, the PLP, the Free National Movement, the FNM, and even some third-party voices. And they say that this election, Mr. Richards, as well, just as important as it is about a lot of those other issues, is about leadership. It is about Mr. Davis, who served as a deputy prime minister, who's been a parliamentarian for, I think, over 40 years, the longest serving in our parliament. Today, it's about that steady hand versus the untested leadership of one Michael Pintard. And a lot of people are, like I say, putting Mr. Pintard and Mr. Davis directly opposed from each other, and who would be the best leader has been the question.
But you have a leader there, Lincoln Bain, I think. There's a, is that his name?
That is correct. Lincoln Bain leads the coalition of independents, the COI, which is a third party, which has gained, and I think that they should congratulate themselves. They've gained a lot of traction in the last few years here in the Bahamas as a political group.
Mm-hmm. Oh, they're an independent political group. They are not.
Well, they started, I believe, as it was an effort. You had a lot of people in the last general election moved by lockdowns, moved by really the attitude of the last administration, the Minnis administration, and things that they thought, of course, were concerning. You had a lot of people who were concerned to run. You had people who did not want to tie themselves or identify themselves with a political party per se. And they chose to run independent. Now, at some point, this idea of pooling these people together, of gathering these people together, we've seen in elections in our country in the past, where third parties, while they may get support, while they certainly have an important role, I think we see in our democracy, they never seem to garner the type of support where they're able to win an election. In most cases, they're spoilers when it comes to the successes of some candidates in some constituencies. They may pull 200 or 300 votes, if that. Many of them don't even get their parliamentary deposit back because they fail to get a sufficient amount of voters to vote for them. But it's clear to see in some cases where if you add up these little votes in different constituencies, they take a pretty substantial amount of voters away from that voting pool available to the Free National Movement or the Progressive Liberal Party in this election.
Okay, yes, I see. So the main opposition... As for the policy... As for the policies of the third parties as well, yes,
the COI has, under the leadership of Mr. Bain, I think that they've taken an approach to immigration, which has been, borderline xenophobia. In terms of, we have issues with immigration in our country, yes, but the Bahamas is a country that has several different persons from different countries, many of them from countries as well that we are aligned with in CARICOM. To me, it is a sore sort of issue, especially when I see the positions that some Bahamians, especially in leadership, put forth. In some cases, Mr. Richards, I think it's an attempt really to play on the emotional reaction of Bahamians to some issues that are a bit more touchy, immigration being one of them. In the same way, Mr. Bain has tapped into a certain sector of society where we have people for many reasons in different constituencies who feel invisible. They feel as if they've been neglected by political parties. They feel in some cases that the natural resources of the country have been mismanaged. And Mr. Bain and the Coalition of Independents has spread this message. They've spread this idea that if they are elected as the government of the Bahamas based on our natural resources, that they will be able to give everybody in the Bahamas, that's a population of over 400,000 people, $100,000, I believe it's a year, and that they'll be able to give them an acre of land each. Some of these ideas, while it's clear to see, it really transparently, it's almost pork barrel politics behind it, that they want to almost buy the votes of persons in our country. And a lot of politicians that I speak to from both major parties, have to spend a lot of time dealing with some of the misinformation that is being spread about our economy, about the natural resources and their valuations. And, even that has become contagious with these main parties, with the PLP and the FNM, Mr. Pintar promising that if he is elected, single mothers in our country will get $200 a month each. It's like an explosion of socialism, Mr. Richards, here in our country.
I see. But earlier on, so by the way, how are the people responding to those promises?
There are some persons, I think, Mr. Richards, who don't know better. When it comes to the natural resources of the Bahamas, of course, sun, sand, sea. We talk about deposits of aragonite, limestone. You're talking about, in many cases, some fossilized limestone, and the list goes on and on. But we're not talking about natural resources that put a country in the same position as a Saudi Arabia or one of the Emirates. We're talking about the possibility of, doing some undersea mining in the country, but certainly not a situation where that trickles down to a benefit of $100,000 each for the average Bahamian. So I think you have in some cases persons who can see beyond that. You have a lot of people who believe in some cases that these people from the Coalition of Independents are correct, that for such a time as this, that this leadership team has been put together, and really, I think that they're going to be disappointed on May 13th. I do not think, and I'll tell you and your listeners throughout Jamaica and the diaspora, wherever they may be in the world listening to us, you can rest assured, I don't believe any one of those third-party candidates is going to win.
Okay. Well, let us see what is going to happen there, and I want to thank you. I want to thank you very much, and I would like you to know that this won't be our the last time. It's the first time we are talking, but we want to continue on this subject in the coming weeks until election to find out what is happening. I want to thank you this evening very much for your time, Mr. Jones.
Thank you very much, Mr. Richards. It's been a pleasure. Thank you for the invitation. and for the opportunity, of course, to be able to keep a lot of I have a lot of friends and family there in Jamaica, and the opportunity to be able to speak to really your audience at large. I think it's certainly been the first time for me, and I've enjoyed the conversation with you. So thank you again.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much, Mr. Christian Jones there, and he's a broadcaster. Thanks very much. Yes, that was voice from Bahamas there, telling us what is happening. They are in election mode. Let's go for a break. Yeah, this is Rebel Radio.
It's the Everybody Sale at New Budget Supplies. Do-it-yourself professionals and contractors. This is the sale for you. Lumber, steel, dress and form ply, water tanks, pumps, PVC pipes and fittings, toilets, bathtubs, vanities and basins, windows, paint, doors, floor and wall tiles, thin sets and grout. Up to 20% off selected items. 195 Hagleyburg Road. Telephone 923-4560. New Budget Supplies. Always the best prices.
Tools, hardware, and supplies is holding up the heat this summer with their super saving summer sale. Prices are slashed on everything you need to fix up your home. Beautiful tiles, sleek doors, top quality windows, modern sanitary ware, exclusive flooring, and more. At Tools, hardware, and supplies, we have you covered for the summer.
So come visit us at 279 Spanish Town Road, 4 South Camp Road, 8 Red Hills Road,
or online at toolsja.com.
Tools!
The Lion King of Hardware. I need you, Lord, right now. Yeah, I must tell Jesus all of my trials. I cannot bear these burdens alone. In my distress, He kindly will help me. He ever loves and cares for His own. I must tell Jesus. I must tell Jesus. I cannot be. No. My burdens alone. Can help me, only Jesus alone. I must tell Jesus all of my troubles. He is a kind and compassionate friend. If I ask Him, He will deliver. Make all my troubles quickly and hand. only Jesus alone. What must I do when worldliness calls me? What must I do when tempted to sin? I must tell Jesus, and He will help me over the world, victory to win. I must tell Jesus, I must tell Jesus, I cannot breathe. My burdens are low. I must tell Jesus. I must tell Jesus. Jesus can help me. Jesus can help me. Only Jesus can help me. Only Jesus alone. To all the mothers out there, the ones that have passed and the ones who are still here with us, God bless. I remember Mama and the love that she gave. Building had her bedside, I could still hear Mama say, people are better than you, George, don't you let them down. I remember Mama in a happy way. We went to school with holes in our shoes. We didn't have much, but the Lord saw us through. I'm kept the family together. I remember Mama in a happy day. She packed her lunch in an old greasy bag. Might have seemed empty, but it was more on the head. Grandma, I miss you. Dad, I miss you too. For those of us who lost loved ones, you know what I'm talking about, right? Yeah. Lord Almighty. Yeah. Now Mama is sleeping in the bosom of Jesus Christ. Somehow I know she's smiling at us right now. One day I see her again. Happy I will be. I remember Mama in the happy day. I remember in time to rescue me. He was there just in time to rescue me. I was lost in a world of sin, but he was there to take me. He was there just in time to rescue me. I remember when I couldn't find my way. Hey, I was searching for the truth night and day. Yeah. Never gave up on the faith. I stayed strong. I never gave in. And he was there just in time to rescue me. He was there just in time to rescue me. He was there just in time to rescue me. Have you suffered a broken heart, and it seems that hope was gone, but he was there just in time to rescue you. Oh, I'm so glad God loves me. When I looked at all He's done for me, He paid the price for me. I was blind, but now I see. He was fair, just in time to rescue me. Oh, he was there, just in time to rescue me. Oh, he was there, yes he was, to rescue me. Lord, he was there. Sometimes in our lives, we all have pain, we all have sorrow, but if we are wise, we know that there's always tomorrow. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I have to carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. Please swallow your pride if I have faith. You need to borrow, for no one can feel none of your needs that you won't mention. You just call on me, brother, when you need a hand. We all need somebody to lean.
welcome back to Rebel Radio. You know, it's Wednesday, so it's time for food security. And this is where we spend time looking on what is happening in the agricultural sector. Yes, we are bracing ourselves for higher costs in food. I heard the management of Separate this morning alerting the country to higher costs. Yes, I have with me Mr. Fabian Rule from over in St. Mary there, the JAS representative from over St. Mary. Mr. Rule, good afternoon to you, sir.
Good afternoon, sir. I have to correct you, sir, that I am no longer the president for the St. Mary chapter of the JAS, the ABS, you know, sir. I've resigned from that post.
Okay.
Almost a year now.
All right. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. But you still can't tell me what is happening to the farmers in St. Mary. I know that they suffered a lot during Melissa, but how is the recovery coming along? The last time we spoke, you told me that the banana farmers were on a track to the recovery. How is recovery coming along?
Yeah, the banana, yes, for sure, the banana is coming back. As I say, I think the last time we spoke, I did say by April, March, we are seeing a little movements there. You know, it is not there fully as yet, but you know, there are sure signs of the industry being, you know, bouncing back. You know, and again, I take my hats off to, especially to the banana board who tried their best to, you know, reach the farmers in terms of the support, wherever it is coming from, through the ministry, through RADA. But I think the banana board, you know, they play a key role in even identifying farmers that, you know, were not maybe under their radar, and those farmers also get the necessary assistance. So, you know, I really want to say, you know, thank you to them for sure, because I think they went above and beyond, well coordinated in terms of, you know, the support that they were able to give to the banana and the planting farmers. No matter how small that farmer is, that farmer did get some amount of support. And, you know, I really have to say, you know, thank you to the various stakeholders who coordinate and make that possible, spearheaded by the banana board, to, you know, Miss Coney and Ora Lewis and the others. Mm-hmm. In St. Mary, we have been getting a lot of rain. Yes, I've been getting a lot of rain. I know they were complaining earlier about, you know, even the Irish potato. Most of the larger farmers were able to harvest theirs. I mean, as you know, the price is really low in terms of what they are selling it for. But, you know, I hope that some of them got to put some in storage, and, you know, they still get to sell some, and not getting any feedback as it relates to whether there was any great loss where that is concerned. And as you know, the tomato, I think the tomato is slowly coming back in terms of pricing. But with the rain that is affecting us now, you know, there are farmers that are losing their crop in regards to that. In terms of, as you know, the rain, that is also slowing up land preparation. Because as you know, most of the farmers that use mechanical used to plow their land, they are not able to do so at this time. I'm not sure what the outlook may be as you hear with the price of fertilizer increasing, oil and export. We will have some amount of problem with the you know, increase in land preparation, all of these things. So these things we have to be bracing ourselves for. But nevertheless, the farmer continue to grow. The farming community continue to grow. They are planting, but the only thing that is slowing us up now is the rain. Another issue that I pick up also is not just farmers, but other stakeholders was very disappointed that the Centenary Agri Expo was not able to be held this year. As you know, I was once instrumental in its execution, but as you know, I'm no longer actively participating in the running of the ABS or the JS in the parish. But I think that the problem or the reason for the show not being held this year was because of the Melissa, and I think that was kind of maybe premature, because we're seeing where our farmers especially was even bounce back, or not just bounce back, but have a whole supply of several of their produce, from tomato to Irish potato to cabbage, and papaya and so forth. These things were coming back. They would want an outlet where they could go and sell the surplus. And a lot of some of the sponsors were surprised of the move. Also, some of the persons in horticulture, those persons who was looking forward to selling their plants, their flowers, their fruit trees, etc., was not able to do so. They were preparing from after the Hurricane Melissa. They started preparing for the show, and to hear that it was postponed was kind of unfortunate. So a lot of farmers, especially farmers that some of them that has been complaining to me, because I have to say, because I still talk to a lot of farmers. Some of them would go to the show every year to buy from the distribution companies of the various inputs that they would use on the farm, because once they go to the show, they would get those inputs at a lower, an affordable cost, right? And that was that again was somewhat disappointing for them, because they're not able to capitalize on that opportunity, which they would have been capitalizing on over the years. And not just farmers alone. Some of the farm stores also would go to the show to buy stocks for their stores. So it is a whole chain reaction of events and disappointment right along the value chain, for not just for the farmers, but for all the stakeholders, the patrons, the supporters who was looking forward to it. They are disappointed.
Okay, yes. Well, we don't have to wait until next year. It's a pity that show, as you indicated, many farmers were preparing for it.
They were preparing. And I know that because the show was not held, they tried to have a farmers market. I didn't get any feedback from the persons organized, which is the JS, and I think to a lesser extent rather also play a role in that. But that was not enough for in terms of farmers and all the other persons that would have been supporting and benefiting from a show of that magnitude. And
I know that the St. Mary farmers they plant a lot of dasheen. How is that coming along?
Sorry, dasheen. A couple farmers that has planted dasheen and cocoa. I haven't checked in that area. I can't say much as it relates to that, the level of production where that is concerned. I might have to, circle back with you on that one. I probably know one or two farmers that is growing cocoa and dasheen, and they are currently planting and growing, especially for the cocoa.
Yes. But as you said that the tomato and the other crops, the farmers are out there, they are back out there and they are planting. You can.
They're planting, man. They are, and you know, it's just that what is happening, and as I say, we have the rain now. We have a lot of rain now, and it has been like that since maybe for the past 3 months. Not there is consistent rain. Maybe you get a few days, you know, relief, but it has been consistent. But the farm, they are still planting, and as you know, we had discussed the whole situation with the Irish potato, but most of those farmers was able to harvest. There are still some with Irish potato in the ground, but not like for the larger areas that grew. Most of them, you know, they started early, so they start to harvest now, and some of them even finish harvesting. You know, but the only thing that is might slow up some amount of production for the parish is the rain.
Yes, okay, all right. Well, that is very good news for the farmers in St. Mary. And
and there's another thing that I also want to bring to the attention of, you know, all, you know, the stakeholders and whoever, those that are listening. The situation of predal larceny, the situation of, you know, stealing overall, that is, you know, that is creeping its head up, especially for the banana farmers. As you know, that is one of the areas that has over the year, you know, that has been targeted. You know, that is becoming a problem. You know, so I'm making a special appeal, you know, to the relevant personnel who monitors that here through there's a new name for it. It's not predal larceny unit. It's a new name. I can't forget the name. I don't remember the name. But you know, the vigilance in terms of you know, even for the police, just, you know, simply asking, you know, persons for their receipt, etc. Yeah, that is, for me, one of the low-hanging fruits that we can use to, you know, press or eaglers and farmers to ensure that they go out and get their receipt books, and from the end of whoever is monitoring, especially on the road, the person is distributing and moving the produce out of the parish, it is done properly, and we are able to account for whatever is moving off our farms. But that is, you know, slowly becoming a sore issue, especially for our banana farmers.
Yes.
Because I know a couple of farmers, plant farmers and banana farmers, that has lost bananas up to last week.
Wow, yes. But that's very bad news. That the predal larceny is creeping up in St. Mary, and the banana farmers are being targeted. And as we mentioned,
they are being targeted.
And as we mentioned earlier, because we know that the banana farmers receive a blow during Melissa.
Yes.
And we anticipated that, as on this program, I know that you and I have spoken, that they received some attention, and we expect them to be back up by between now and May. But you are saying that
yes, we did.
The predal larceny is creeping up on them now.
It is. I mean, a lot of farmers, they are suffering in silence. But you know, as I whatever platform that I get to echo, I will and make a special appeal.
All right. Just hold it for me there. Let us just take a break. This is Rebel Radio.
Okay.
Hold it. Let us go for a break.
It's the Everybody's sale at New Budget Supplies. Do-it-yourself professionals and contractors. This is the sale for you. Lumber, steel, dress and form ply, water tanks, pumps, PVC pipes and fittings, toilets, bathtubs, vanities and basins, windows, paint, doors, floor and wall tiles, thin sets and grout. Up to 20% off selected items. 195 Hagleyburg Road. Telephone 923-4560. New Budget Supplies. Always the best prices.
Tools, hardware, and supplies is turning up the heat this summer with your super saving summer sale. Prices are slashed on everything you need to fix up your home. Beautiful tiles, sleek doors, top quality windows, modern sanitary ware, exclusive flooring, and more. At Tools, hardware, and supplies, we have you covered for the summer.
So come visit us at 279 Spanish Town Road, 4 South Camp Road, 8 Red Hills Road,
or online at toolsja.com.
Tools!
The Lion King of Hardware. What a friend, yeah. A blessed Savior. Oh, what a friend we have in Jesus. All our sins and grief to bear. Oh, what a privilege to carry everything to God in prayer. Oh, what peace we often forfeit. Oh, what needless pain we bear. All because we do not carry everything to God in prayer.
Welcome to Rebel Radio, yes, and we are on food security, talking to Mr. Fabian Rule and Mr. Glendon Harris out of St. James has joined us. Mr. Harris, how are you?
I'm good.
Yes.
I'm on the road. I'm going to stop on
your colleague over in Westmoreland, what is his name again?
You got again, Dobson?
Not Dobson, the other one.
The regional manager.
All right, Mr. Top, it's all right. Hold on.
Yes, sir.
All right, hold it there. All right, hold it there for me. Hold it. Let me try and get him. Let me try and get Mr. Top.
All right.
This is a Denver Top. Yes. So you, Mr. Harris, you can talk now.
I wouldn't mind 5 minutes, but
What? You can join us. You are ready for us to, or you need need more time?
you give me 5 minutes.
Okay, all right. Well, Mr. Fabian Rule, we have Mr. Rule online here. I was trying to get Mr. Thorpe out of St. James over Westmoreland there. Let me try one more time. There, Mr. Thorpe is one of our Denver Thorpe. There. Let me see if I get him. While we await Mr. Rule, do you, Mr. Rule, have you have any other highlights you want to tell us about?
Just that. Well, I'm not sure what is the plan, or maybe I've been able to reach out or hear much about it, but in terms of the shock that we know overall all over the world, the farmers will be experiencing it. I know that the minister had made a presentation recently. I didn't get a chance to listen or read anything on it, but our farmers might not be experiencing much now. I mean, other than certain inputs that we see where the price is going up. When you just started, you spoke about the food price that is expected to go up. But we know that the food price hasn't gone up yet, but we have seen where other inputs relating to farming, the price and that has gone up already. So I would want to hear clearly from the stakeholders, the various agencies that monitors these things and implement policies and whatever there is to ease some of the burden of our farmers, because more than ever right now we will need that additional support to ensure that we still remain competitive, or not even competitive, but because we are not able to compete with imported produce, but at least for us to still be able to maintain our livelihood and live and support our family through our business venture through farming. So I expect that additional support will be coming forward to assist our farmers in a critical time right now.
Yes, I understand that is very important. Well, let me see if Mr. Harris.
Yes.
All right. What is happening to the farmers in St. James?
Well, we are all under the system that we're trying to get back on track. Almost 100% damage across the parish. Bananas planting, the farmers that plant, even dash in, and things like that, tomato, all of those, like goes in Garlands, Moko, Niagara, that does those things, the sweet potato, sweet potato in the ground, were damaged, So, but the farmers have been trying their utmost best. We have all set back what we had and trying to do more. Just since last week, we gave out papa seedlings. Farmers got different kind of assistance with the farmers, with the farm, so that they can move quickly to get back on their feet, because almost all of us are out of cash, with what happened in trying to get back roof over our head and things to be able to eat and drink. So the farmers have been out there seriously and trying to get back on track. I must commend the Ministry of Agriculture on giving the assistance at different levels so that they can assist the farmers to get back on track.
As it relates to banana farmers, Mr. Ruler just told us that the banana farmers in St. Mary, they got assistance and they are coming back rapidly. Or do you know if your banana farmers, they got assistance from the banana board down there?
Well, in fact, the bananas was one of the plants that was totally destroyed. Banana and planting down this side. I know that in St. Mary they had a little part of it, but this side we had the whole thing, you know.
St. Mary was badly damaged too. St. Mary banana farmers were badly damaged.
Yes, but not as bad as this side.
Yes, Mr. Harris, how you do? No man, St. Mary was you know how vulnerable banana is. It was completely between St. Mary and Portland. Everything was flat, man. Nothing was saved.
Okay, well, it was worse down this side. Because even the leaves on the ground was damaged. You know.
Okay. So you know if the banana board support give any support to the farmers to help them?
Well, basically there has been some talk, and I have not gotten any concrete evidence that anything has gone to the farmers, especially in South St. James, where it is a main banana planting area.
Okay, yeah. Well, it is unfortunate. Well, overall, though, you said...
I've heard of the talk, but I don't see much of reaction.
Okay, yes. But overall, you are saying the farmers in St. James, though, they are fighting back.
Yes, we are fighting back. We are fighting back. No, but the love of it, you know, because it's only people that love farming now stay in it, you know.
Yeah. This
side of the world, you know.
I see. Well, we have to see what is happening, because you know that the agriculture is very important. Have you started to see any, or the increases? Have you started to experience increases as a result of the war in the Middle East?
Well, not directly yet, you know, but we know that even fertilizer is going to become probably short and more expensive. You know, we know that other agricultural inputs will be in a state that we probably can afford them, but you know, the farmers are resilient. You know, we try our utmost best because is what we love what we do and do what we love.
Yeah. You don't start to experience gas prices yet?
The gas prices have been up probably 2-3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And we don't see where it is going to come down anytime soon.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. But so you you don't start seeing any movement in the prices of food or agricultural inputs.
There's a bit of sweet here. Tomatoes down the side is at a low. let's say banana. Banana, if you want probably 100 banana, you might have to pay $1,000 from it from wherever it come from. You know, $1,000 for 100 banana.
Okay.
You know, so the things that the farmers were able to get back on track with, you know, and get it to reap so far, there is a glut on most of them, you know. Lettuce, pak choy and things of that nature that came in early because the farmers did push in to have something to earn from. But as it is now, you know, it is going for a little, well, it is going on the price because of the amount that is on the market.
Okay. All right. Well, then we have to just keep on plowing. Let me ask both of you what for your final word for before we end this part of the show. What are your final comments, Mr. Rule?
Well, you know, overall is that, you know, most of our farmers are suffered significant loss. The ones that were able to bounce back within a short time also suffered some amount of loss to you know, the glut that, you know, we have been experiencing over the past three to 4 months with all the produce from lettuce to Irish potato to tomato and all of that. You know, when you look at what is happening now with the increase in the inputs that we as farmers are using due to, you know, the war that is going on, we're almost at the middle of the year, and there may be the window for us to even replant again and earn, or even any farmer return on our investment is very limited. Because shortly we'll be going right back into the hurricane season. So it has been so far I believe it has been a very bad year for our farmers. And I'm not sure if we will end the year on top. I can't say. I really don't want to paint a picture of doom and gloom, but what the reality of what is happening, we are now experiencing extreme weather conditions, and the little window that we would have had to grow within that window, it has shortened now. As I tell you earlier, that St. Mary is experiencing a lot of rain, so we are not able to plant as much as we can, or to even to the mechanical operator to plow the land as we would want it to be done. So the window has shortened, and we continue to lose. So as I said before, you know, I really would want that's a special appeal. I'm making a special appeal, you know, for the stakeholders, relevant persons who are tasked in assisting our farmers, providing the necessary subsidy. You know, they're really going to have to double down again, because I know that a lot of support came, especially for St. Mary, and I can speak for Portland also, for the farmers, the Irish potato farmers, the banana farmers. We still want to see additional support coming again, because our farmers, we are still not totally out of the park. We experience beryl, and then back to back we experience Melissa. So I mean, one here can help a farmer to bounce back to a level, a comfortable level. So, you know, the support should keep coming. The support even in a more significant way now, and not just a significant way, in a coordinated way, because what as I said in previous interviews, we said that we need to see a national strategy as it relates to how we approach agriculture and what we are growing and when, and how we can help our farmers to forecast and coordinate in such a way where we can avoid everyone planting the same thing at the same time, so that at least we know that we can see a better return on our investment, and there is not a glut, but the food is also affordable, and the farmer will also, get a return on their investment. Because as I said before, I don't want us to be celebrating farm produce being cheap. I want us to be celebrating equity across the value chain, with our farmers feeling valued, and our consumers feeling that they got value for their money.
Okay, all right. Mr. Harris, your final comment?
Yes, I think this.
Hello?
Mr. Harris?
Seems like his phone is on mute or something. You might have to check.
Mr. Harris? I don't understand what is happening to him. Well, Mr. Rule, I want to thank you very much for your time. And as I said,
always, sir.
Yes.
Always, and I say, I am a farmer myself, and if once you call upon me to make that representation, while I might not be a part of a farmer system, whether the JS or one of those areas, I'm still I'm still close to the ground. I understand the issues, and I will always be advocating on behalf of not just the farmers overall, but myself as a farmer also.
Thank you very much, Mr. Rule.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, sir. Yes, that was Mr. Rule there. We, hold on. I don't understand, let us take a break. Let us take a break.
This is what they term the industrial tomatoes. Each, they have 1,000 roots here, 1,000 roots, and each plant will give you 20 kilos of production. So each one of these plants over the life cycle of the plant will give you 20 kilos of production. Importantly, the time to fruiting is 65 days. 65 days. So this is what they term industrial cultivation. One of the things about this, if you notice how the beds are laid out, is that you can have the harvester, which is upgraded tractor, driving over the plant and lifting, shaking. So you have industrial reaping. The reaping also is mechanized. You don't need people to mechanize 20 kilos per plant. So when the plant is fully mature and have full fruiting, if you notice also, something spectacular is the uniformity of the field. You will see the height of the plant and the consistency of the flowering. That's an important part of commercial agriculture because you don't want to come 5-6 times to harvest. So you have to have uniformity of the flowering process, even the flowering process. If you look at all the plants here, if you take an image of all the plants, you will see uniformity of the flowering. So they're flowering in the same capacity at the same time, which means they'll fruit at the same capacity in the same time. That is why they have it. You have phase development. So this is massive development in agriculture. I want to really commend Minister Zulfi and his team from the Ministry of Agriculture, NARI, and all the other, the whole team there. The REO, Carl, the regional chair, vice chair, Brian, our brother Chris, our friends from Brazil, all of the guys and girls who are working so hard to make this reality. And my passion is about food security. And this is about food security. We want CARICOM also. So early this morning, we went to the watermelon. We went to, you look at the different tomatoes. Now you come to see the industrial type of cultivation. We're going to see some sweet potato, the red sweet potato production later. And then to show you how we're moving to onion security for Guyana and the rest of the region.
Okay, well, that's the end of today's show, Food Security. Until next week, when we will have another show. I hope next week we will be talking to our Caribbean partners. Until then, let us go for a break now.
It's the Everybody Sale at New Budget Supplies. Do-it-yourself professionals and contractors. This is the sale for you. Lumber, steel, dress and form ply, water tanks, pumps, PVC pipes and fittings, toilets, bathtubs, vanities and basins, windows, paint, doors, floor and wall tiles, thin sets and grout. Up to 20% off selected items. 195 Hagleyburg Road. Telephone 923-4560. New Budget Supplies. Always the best prices.
Tools, hardware, and supplies is turning up the heat this summer with their super saving summer sale. Prices are slashed on everything you need to fix up your home. Beautiful tiles, sleek doors, top quality windows, modern sanitary ware, exclusive flooring, and more. At Tools, hardware, and supplies, we have you covered for the summer.
So come visit us at 279 Spanish Town Road, 4 South Camp Road, 8 Red Hills Road,
or online at toolsja.com.
Tools!
The Lion King of Hardware.
Imagine a world where information is power, where news meets insight. This is Eyes on the World, your personal lens. We are watching with you. Stay informed, stay curious, get the world's stories reported to you. Eyes on the World, your perspective.
Well, good evening. It's time for your program, Eyes on the World. You know, this is where we show you some of what has been happening in this troubled world. Take a look at these videos. Yes.
European allies are accelerating contingency plans within NATO to prepare for a potential US withdrawal, amid growing uncertainty over Washington's long-term commitment to the alliance. The proposal, informally dubbed a European NATO, aims to shift more command, logistics, and defense responsibilities to European powers while preserving the alliance's core structure. The initiative has gained significant momentum following a major political shift in Germany. Under Chancellor Friedrich Merz, Berlin is now backing greater European leadership in NATO, marking a departure from its long-standing reliance on the United States as the primary security guarantor. Officials say the goal is to ensure deterrence against Russia and maintain operational continuity, even if US forces are reduced or withdrawn. The push reflects deepening concerns across Europe over US reliability and the future of transatlantic security, and comes at a time when President Donald Trump has issued stark warnings about NATO's role going forward. US President Donald Trump has sharply escalated tensions within NATO, openly questioning the alliance's reliability amid a growing rift over his Iran strategy. The trigger, a bold US move to impose a naval blockade on Iranian ports, has exposed deep fractures between Washington and its European allies.
NATO wasn't there for us, and they won't be there for us in the future.
The remark follows a clear refusal from key NATO members, including the United Kingdom and France, to join the US-led blockade. Leaders in Europe have instead pushed back against military escalation, signaling a preference for diplomacy and post-conflict stabilization rather than direct confrontation with Iran.
We're not supporting the blockade. Whatever the pressure, we're not getting dragged into the war.
Despite Trump's earlier claims that multiple countries would participate, the blockade is now shaping up as a largely unilateral U.S. operation. Washington has warned that Iranian vessels approaching the restricted zone could be targeted, raising the stakes in an already volatile Strait of Hormuz.
This strictly defensive mission will be deployed as soon as the situation allows.
France and its allies are now working on a separate multinational initiative, focused not on conflict, but on restoring safe navigation after hostilities end. The proposal underscores a widening strategic gap within NATO over how to handle the Iran crisis. With tensions rising and trust eroding, Trump's latest warning signals more than just frustration. It points to a deeper geopolitical rupture within the Western alliance, as NATO's unity faces one of its most serious tests in recent years.
One in 5 Germans now face the risk of imminent poverty in what has long been one of the world's wealthiest nations. This video is a tour of Germany's slums. In France, the poverty rate has hit a 30-year high. While every nation has poor people, the standard of living in Europe has been falling behind America's for almost 20 years. Europeans are becoming poorer, and some believe it could someday spark a revolution. The European Union's economy has been stagnant for so long that the poorest state in the U.S., Mississippi, now has a higher GDP than any nation in the EU except Germany. And Mississippi looks to be on track to surpass Germany. Europe has been stifling economic growth with heavy-handed environmental policies, a self-made energy crisis, a crippling tax burden, a bloated welfare state, and regulations that make it hard for businesses to compete globally. In short, while American industry innovates, Europeans regulate.
The EU is like a vacuum cleaner sucking up more and more powers, concentrating more influence and more authority to Brussels. And it cannot stop itself.
Economist Sven Larsson lived in Sweden before moving to the United States.
They have a welfare state that consumes close to half, or in some countries more than half, of the economy, and that means that they essentially take free market economy, run it through government instead, which means that they depress economic activity. They don't get nearly as much out of it.
Half of the EU nations surveyed by the official EU Statistics Bureau had growth last year of less than 1%, while the U.S. has been growing between 2.5% and 3%. European leaders have now begun to panic after reports the continent is deindustrializing. This includes Germany, once one of the world's industrial powerhouses. Germany scuttled its nuclear industry right when energy costs began to soar, in what the Wall Street Journal called the world's dumbest energy policy. Germany used to rely on cheap Russian energy. No more. When President Trump, in a 2018 UN speech, warned Germany about becoming dependent on Russian energy, the German delegation could be seen laughing. The Germans aren't laughing anymore. This German banking and finance expert told us he's had enough of life in Germany and is moving his family to Spain. Chris Consultant, as he's known on YouTube, says Spain has problems too, but it's a better life overall than in Germany.
For us, for the short and medium term, is first we want to get out of the city here in Hamburg.
more to a healthier lifestyle and to a, let's say, net win quality of life, lower cost of living and higher quality of life.
Chris says on top of all the economic problems in Germany is a loss of freedom.
People do not dare to speak out what they think, also because of job, financial, societal norms of the way the thinking is embedded here. But on the other hand, and that worries me even more, is a lot of people still living in denial and not being able to see the down path and the trajectory that we are not going in the right direction.
Austrian political analyst Dr. Rolf Schollhammer has warned that bad economic conditions have historically helped ignite revolutions, and wrote recently that some sort of political upheaval in Europe is coming.
I cannot tell you precisely what it's going to look like, but pretty much all the indicators of coming social unrest at best and potential quasi-revolutionary and regional civil war-like scenarios at worst, all of this, I think, is almost unavoidable.
All signs indicate the wealth gap between the U.S. and Europe will continue to widen. Larson believes that a return to Christianity in Europe would boost economies.
I'm an economist, but I need to add this. Christianity is a spiritual, moral, and social force that builds civilization and prosperity and helps us become responsible citizens, so we don't need government.
A poll last year showed most Democrats wish the U.S. was more like Europe. However, as conditions in Europe slowly worsen, they might want to reconsider. Dale Hurd, CBN News, from Frankfurt, Germany.
In a bold defiance of the U.S.-imposed blockade on Tehran's ports, a sanctioned Iranian supertanker sailed straight through. No interception, no concealment. According to Iranian state media, a very large crude carrier, or VLCC, capable of carrying up to 2 million barrels of oil, entered Iranian waters openly with its tracking system active and without concealment. The tanker, which was not identified by Fars news agency, passed through the Strait of Hormuz unchallenged to enter Iran's waters, as per the report. The report came a day after shipping data revealed that a U.S.-sanctioned Chinese tanker on April 14th slipped through the Strait of Hormuz, the first to exit the Gulf since Washington choked off Iranian ports. The rich Starry, blacklisted for Iran dealings, loaded 250,000 barrels of methanol in the UAE and sailed right past the U.S. Navy cordon, which came into effect on April 13th. However, vessel tracking data compiled by Bloomberg claimed to show that the tanker Rich Starry transited Hormuz but turned around later in the Gulf of Oman. Meanwhile, a Reuters report said that a U.S. destroyer intercepted 2 oil tankers attempting to leave Iran on Tuesday and instructed them to turn around amid the blockade aimed at choking Tehran's oil exports. The ships had reportedly left Chabahar port in the Gulf of Oman and were contacted by the warship via radio. This comes as the Wall Street Journal reported that the U.S. military has intercepted at least 8 oil tankers entering or leaving Iranian ports since the start of the American blockade. Citing officials, the Journal reported that in every instance, tankers complied with the orders and no boardings were necessary. The United States has reportedly deployed more than 15 warships and thousands of U.S. service members, including Marines and Special Operations Forces, to enforce the blockade of Iranian ports. Later, the U.S. Central Command bragged that American forces have completely halted economic trade going into and out of Iran through sea by a blockade, declaring that it has achieved maritime superiority in the Middle East. However, the latest breakout signals the blockade's already leaking oil into global markets while making a mockery of Trump's siege.
It was a war that shook the region, rattled global markets,
and brought the world to the very edge of crisis. And now, just as tensions seemed at their peak, a stunning and potentially game-changing claim emerges. According to Maria Bartiromo, U.S. President Donald Trump has declared the war with Iran is already over. Bartiromo says she spoke directly with Trump ahead of a highly anticipated interview set to air Wednesday, where more details could soon come to light. During that conversation, she pressed him on a key question. Why does he speak about the war as if it is already in the past? Trump's answer was brief but striking. It's over. The remark stands in sharp contrast to earlier warnings from Washington about a possible return to military action if Iran does not agree to long-term ceasefire terms. It also raises questions about whether the ground reality is shifting faster than official policy language suggests. At the same time, Trump confirmed that a second round of negotiations with Iran could take place within days. That signals a pivot from confrontation to dialogue, even as mistrust remains deeply rooted on both sides.
Iran has revealed its fresh strategy to counter American blockade of the Strait of Hormuz. Tehran has made it clear that Iran would not be choked into submission by the sea. Instead of sounding alarmed, the country quietly turned to its geography, leaning on thousands of kilometers of land borders and regional trade routes to keep its economy breathing. Interior Minister Eskandar Momeni said Iran's 8,000-kilometer stretch of land and sea frontiers gave it enough room to maneuver. In instructions to governors across border provinces, he called for an immediate push to expand cross-border trade, especially the import of essential goods and the export of local products. Statements carried by IRIB and documents on government portals showed that officials were told to use every available resource to make sure daily life was not disrupted by any maritime pressure. Iran's map suddenly became its biggest advantage. The country shared land borders with Iraq, Turkey, Armenia, Azerbaijan, Turkmenistan, Afghanistan and Pakistan, and also traded with Russia and Kazakhstan through the Caspian Sea. Routes that were once secondary were treated as economic lifelines. Border cooperatives, transport networks and local administrations were asked to work together to keep goods moving smoothly. At the same time, regional ties have tightened. Pakistan opened a new transit corridor that ran from Gwadar port through Iran into Central Asia, with the first shipment reaching Tashkent. Analysts in Islamabad said this was closely linked to improving ties after Pakistan helped mediate a ceasefire and hosted recent US-Iran talks. Islamabad also relaxed export rules, allowing food, medicines and other supplies to move through this route. All of this pointed to a simple Iranian strategy. If the sea was blocked, the land would carry the load. Iran appeared determined to turn its borders into bridges, using geography and regional partnerships as its quiet answer to blockade pressure.
News never stops. The world keeps turning, and every turn tells a story. Wars, elections, geopolitics, Davids versus Goliaths.
While everyone is celebrating the US-China trade tour, Trump has been quietly doing something else across Asia.
These were once home to the ancient Silk Road connecting east and west.
But who's connecting the dots? Who's decoding the global storm? Welcome to Times of India videos.
You're watching a special edition of Global Pulse with me, Neha Khanna.
We decode the shifting grains of geopolitics to you. From Washington to Wuhan. Everything, everywhere, all at once.
Just 2 years ago, Canada was one of the most popular countries for Indian students.
From Davos to Delhi. We track the decisions that move markets, shift policies, and shape the future. No jargon, no bias, just clear, credible, global journalism. Because understanding the world doesn't have to be complicated, it just has to be smart. And that's what we do best. At Times of India videos, we don't just tell stories, we build perspective. We connect the dots between what's global and what's personal, what's happening out there, and what it means for you. It's fast. It's fearless. It's making sense of the changing world order. Times of India videos. Because your worldview is just a tap away.
Donald Trump is sending thousands more troops to the Iran war zone as the rogue state's defiance ramps up fears of a bloody ground invasion. Several menacing ghost ships were able to slip through the net within hours of the US Navy imposing its blockade in the Strait of Hormuz. Around 6,000 soldiers aboard the USS George H.W. Bush aircraft carrier and its escort ships are heading to the Middle East. More than 3,000 crack airborne troops have already been sent to join 5,000 US Marines closing in on Iran. The Pentagon said the reinforcements will join around 50,000 personnel already involved in operations in the Gulf. Last month, a US Navy ship carrying about 2,500 Marines arrived in the Middle East, and another 2,500 were also deployed from California. The arrival of the additional forces will see 3 aircraft carriers in the region, each with dozens of fighter jets. The USS Abraham Lincoln has been in the Middle East since January, while the USS Gerald R. Ford arrived in the eastern Mediterranean in February. The USS George H.W. Bush is close to the Horn of Africa and on its way to the Middle East. Iran refused to relinquish its nuclear ambitions at last week's Crunch peace talks in Pakistan, but J.D. Vance is now prepared to tighten the screws for round 2. If they continue to block peace, Trump's next move may be a potentially catastrophic ground offensive.
Trump said 3 words that stopped the news cycle. I view it as very close to over. Here's what over looks like right now. The U.S. Navy is not threatening ships. It is not warning ships. It is stopping them. And this week, Washington made a claim that should have broken the internet. U.S. has completely halted every ship, every cargo, every dollar moving into and out of Iran by sea. Not partially, not mostly, but completely. That is not a sanction. That is not a warning letter. That is a siege. The oldest weapon of war reborn in the Persian Gulf in the year 2026. The last time a major power blockaded another nation's entire coastline, the world called it an act of war. Washington is calling it Tuesday. 24 hours into the blockade, here is what CENTCOM reported. 0 ships made it through. 6 turned back on command. 2 tankers attempting to leave Chabahar stopped by a U.S. destroyer. Before this war began, more than 130 ships crossed the Strait of Hormuz every single day. Now, a fraction. A ghost fleet of idle tankers sitting in waters they are no longer allowed to cross. 130 ships down to almost nothing. That is what a siege looks like from the outside. But one ship decided otherwise. Its name is the Rich Starry, Chinese-owned, flying the flag of Malawi, a landlocked country with no coast, no navy, no sea. It is carrying 250,000 barrels of methanol. It is under U.S. sanctions, and it does not care. U.S. forces turned it back. It reversed, then turned again, and sailed through the strait anyway. By Wednesday, it was back circling, probing, defying. One sanctioned tanker doing what an entire nation cannot, moving freely through water. The U.S. Navy just declared its own a sanctions-busting ghost ship with a fake flag and a full hull and no intention of stopping at sea. Warships hold the line. In Washington, the Treasury is doing the same, just with paper. This week, letters went out to banks in China, Hong Kong, the UAE, and Oman. The message was not subtle. Iran funneled $9 billion through American banking systems last year, through front companies, through shadow networks, in broad daylight. That window is closing. The authorization to sell Iranian crude stranded at sea expires April 19th. It will not be renewed. The naval blockade squeezes from one side. The financial blockade squeezes from the other. Iran is caught between both. Here is the number that matters most. 7 days. The ceasefire expires in 7 days, and there is no deal, no framework, no agreement, not even a shared understanding of what a deal would look like. Talks collapsed. A second round might happen, or it might not. The venue keeps changing. So does the timeline. So does everything. 7 days the blockade holds. The clock runs. Modi called Trump 40 minutes. Both men agreed the Strait of Hormuz must stay open and secure. In Beijing, Xi Jinping warned the world against what he called the law of the jungle. No one needed to ask who he meant. Iran is losing an estimated $435 million every single day that its ports stay blocked and its ships stay still. Not per week, not per month, per day. Every sunrise costs them almost $500 million. So is it over? The U.S. says it has cut off an entire nation from the sea. The Navy says the blockade holds. The Treasury says the money stops. The diplomats say maybe Thursday. The ceasefire says 7 days. Trump says it is very close to over. The warships say otherwise. April 21st, do not look away.
Imagine a world where information is power, where news meets insight. This is Eyes on the World, your personal lens. We are watching with you. Stay informed, stay curious, get the world's stories reported to you. Eyes on the World, your perspective.
It's the Everybody Sale at New Budget Supplies. Do-it-yourself professionals and contractors. This is the sale for you. Lumber, steel, dress and form ply, water tanks, pumps, PVC pipes and fittings, toilets, bathtubs, vanities and basins, windows, paint, doors, floor and wall tiles, thin sets and grout. Up to 20% off selected items. 195 Hagley Park Road. Telephone 923-4560. New Budget Supplies. Always the best prices.
Tools Hardware and Supplies is putting up the heat this summer with their super saving summer sale. Prices are slashed on everything you need to fix up your home. Beautiful tiles, sleek doors, top quality windows, modern sanitary ware, exclusive flooring and more. At Tools Hardware and Supplies, we have you covered for the summer.
So come visit us at 279 Spanish Town Road, 4 South Camp Road, 8 Red Hills Road,
or online at toolsja.com. Tools!
The Lion King of Hardware.
Bulletin, world of sports and entertainment. We have lots of it in this half-hour package. Yes, I'm your host, Kingsley J.J. McCullough. And fresh. This is what I call fresh drop. Yes, another year, another knockout for Real Madrid. You see, it's the second year, and it is since the arrival of Kylian Mbappe. And then last year, PSG proved big enough and won the title without Kylian Mbappe. All right, them say, give him another year and then again. And see, there again, he has gone exiting at the quarterfinal stage against Bayern Munich of Germany. Now the winner of that match, is going to play PSG. Very interesting, defending champions PSG. And the other one, Arsenal of London, limped going into the semi-final against Atletico Madrid. Not impressed at all, but then get the result. A 1-0 from the week before, and yes, Arsenal are through to the semi-final where they are going to play Atletico Madrid, the machine. So it's interesting. It's all poised there for this mountain when the semi-final pits up. Where it's going to take place? Now, I'm sure. I think it's at England. Yeah. Yes, it's a two-way tie, the semi-final, I think. So it's interesting. And also, same Arsenal, they are still the league leaders in the English Premier League, and looking forward to Sunday against the outgoing and defending champions, Manchester City, who is 6 points behind Arsenal with a game in hand, and it depends on that result. With 6 more games to go in the English Premier League, it's still open, but people are still saying Arsenal should hold on and win this 2025-26 title and cut that wait for over 20 years for winning the EPL. Okay, so that should be seen for the weekend's Premier League. I'm going to give you those fixtures on Friday. Yes, it's really... Jamaica name a strong squad to the World Relays. That's coming up next month, yes. And, you know, Kishi and Thompson, the twins are there. Janelle Smith, Elaine Thompson, Era, and of course, Sharika Jackson. It's a very strong team. You know, not much championship, and I think they're going to put make a good impression there at the World Relays. Where it's going to be, I'm not sure. I'll have to check that out again. I think it's what? I'm not sure. I'm not going to tell you where until I find out where the World Relays will be hell, it's not in the Bahamas, it's somewhere else. I don't know if it's Japan or I don't know. But I'll get that information and then do that before the half hour is up. Okay. It's all system goes. The Jamaica Premier League is still on, and the last spot is being occupied by, of course, defending champions Cavalier acquired 6th place. Arnett Gardens look like they are going to miss out this time. Montego Bay United and Portmore, another Waterhouse are there, surprisingly. And we don't know, it's going to be a toss-up when this round is finished to see whether it's going to be Arnett Garden or Cavalier who should make it to the top 6. Yes, for the playoff in the Jamaica Premier League. Okay. Yes, also, we have lots of events coming up. We have, yes, the carnival that had happened last week, and it was, held with some controversy and some shooting. And of course, this man gets famous, Kevin, the man who are going to the car, caught on camera, and the police is looking for him. Everybody have them thing doing when it comes to those events and other. So that man was being spotted hijacking cars, and camera caught him and they're looking for him. Better him hand over himself. Now, persons are saying, when you look at PSG and Real Madrid, was it Kylian Mbappe the problem? Yeah. Since he departed from PSG has gotten better and has been to Madrid. Don't know. All right. But it's one thing I can tell you. Vinicius Jr., I don't know if after this World Cup, maybe opting or eyeing to leave Real Madrid, since, I can tell you, I can preempt and tell you that Vinny is, if him no, yes, they might just put him out there and put a price to see who wants him, because I don't think he's going to stay. I don't think Vinicius is going to stay at Real Madrid. And on this drought, I think he's going to find new challenge. And you're going to have clubs like Arsenal, Manchester United. Yeah, they want him in England, yes. And I know that they will welcome Vinicius Jr. there, one of these clubs. Because, yes, he have something can contribute, and I know he will do well in the English Premier League. So I'm just putting this out there and saying that I don't think Vinny is going to ask for a leave at Real Madrid when the season ends. And in the summer, one of these English clubs might scoop him up for the upcoming season, 26-27 year. And seeing that Manchester United is, going to be back in the Champions League more or less, yes. They're having a crucial match against even Chelsea this Sunday, which is going to be very interesting also. All right. So far, I just want to, highlight this. I'm going to just play songs right now. All right, yes. This one from Coney. Okay.
You're the burning flame. Of my heart, it's you I think of night and day. I know I couldn't touch you, I know I couldn't hold you, though I wish I really could. Just care for you. You are the reason, the seasons of my life. You're everything the silence of the night, I can hear you. My thoughts are all about you, alive and true to me. But now I really have you, only in my dreams. You are the reason, the seasons of my life. You're everything I wish and live for. Give me an answer, show me the way. You're breaking me, leaving me in loving you changes everything. It's given me the strength, and it's all because of you. You're the burning flame in my heart and in my mind. In the silence of the night, I can hear you. I know I couldn't touch you, I know I couldn't hold you, though I wish I really could just care for you. You are the reason, the seasons of my life. You're everything I wish and live for. Give me an answer, show me the way. You're breaking me, leaving me in pain. You're breaking me, leaving me in
Yes, that one from Coney Conception Espinosa. Cover song specialist from Philippine, Manila. Okay, beautiful one there, cover song. There are lots more, but she's on her journey and doing more. Looking forward to do, of course, collaboration in reggae, I can tell you that, yes, and, you know, working on a few things that, you know, you're gonna hear more right here on Rebel Radio, of course. And my friend over there in the Bahamas, Perry, yeah, you know what is happening, and others who are looking forward to working with Conception Espinosa. Okay, yes, I have done some things, and you're looking back at what Herald Wisdom is doing, and, you know, making the completion of his album, right? Herald Wisdom there. So we are, you know, looking forward to doing some work with him, right? I'm gonna get to one of the songs that he sent there. All right, Herald Wisdom, of course, man from Pittsburgh, USA. I said, go Pittsburgh, right? Let me get this one from Herald Wisdom. Okay, I haven't got that one yet. Yeah, just working on that project right there, brother. Okay. Right here.
Jah, love Jah, love Jah, Imperial Majesty. Rasta children sing, rocking on the mountain, rocking, rocking, jamming on the mountain, jamming, jamming, rocking on the mountain, rocking, rocking, jamming on the mountain. Yes, right now.
Yeah, man, we're just working on this one with Oral Wisdom. The name of the album and everything that is good there is going to be released. And yes, man, you can stay right here and get all the information on the radio. And of course, we're going to have Oral Wisdom to talk more about this when it's ready. And we're just doing our little thing right here and letting everyone know about this album that's coming up with Oral Wisdom.
Jamming, rocking on the mountain, rocking, rocking, jamming on the mountain, jamming, jamming, rocking on the mountain. Yes, right now, Jah open up our eyes so that we can see. He wants us to know that is the only way. I've got to sing thanks and praise for He said is on His way. So jamming on the mountain, jamming, jamming, rocking on the mountain, rocking, rocking, jamming on the mountain, jamming, jamming, rocking on the mountain. Yes, I'm not the dreadlock, say. Jamming, 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 jamming. We jamming, 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 jamming. Yes, Rasta children sing jamming. Right here, the dreadlock say jamming. Oh yeah, rubber dub style jamming. Jamming. Jamming.
Someone at jamming, Oral Wisdom. Okay, right. Yes, Don Hines, the man himself, do all the promotions and who have put some things together, and if that what is gonna come early next month, I think something have to do with the Mother's Day thing that's coming, and we're going to have, of course, A.J. Brown right here doing an interview a day before he arrives in Jamaica, and he's going to tell us more about this Mother's Day thing that A.J. Brown will be coming, right? So stay tuned for that interview with A.J. Brown right here on Friday the 8th of May. All right. Let me get back to some music before we do that. Okay, let me just get to the fixtures for the Europa League that will be commencing on that's tomorrow. The Europa League. I think we have 2 English teams that is in there. All right. It's gonna be Aston Villa and Nottingham Forest at the quarterfinal stage. Yes. So we're gonna look at these games for tomorrow. At 11:45, it's gonna be Celta Vigo, who is at 0, versus Freiburg, who is at 3. Second leg right there. Yeah, Celta Vigo, Freiburg there will be going with advantage there to go to the semi-final. Aston Villa will have a 3-1 lead over Bologna. All right? And should it get to that semi-final, Nottingham Forest and FC Porto are 1-1, and Real Betis and SC Braga are 1-1. That's for the Europa. And for the conference, AZ Alkmaar will be at home to Shakhtar Donetsk, who is at 3. And AK Athens at 0 will host Rayo Vallecano. The score there is 0-3. Fiorentina will be hosting Crystal Palace, who have a 3-goal lead right there. And Strasbourg will be hosting Mainz. So, yes, those are for the Europa and the Conference League return leg quarter final. And interestingly, a lot of teams, English teams, are there vying in the 3 championship, as you can see. Okay, it's a Wednesday evening. We have much to say or to do now, right? Because, you know, we're going to continue to give you what's happening in entertainment, the launching of some albums and other music that are supposed to come in the entertainment stream. We're going to give you all of that come on Friday when we get back here. All right, but before we wrap up, we just wanted us, you know, we're coming off of the Easter season, school has resumed, and yeah, we just have to just look out while we are on the road and to care for each other. It's about the preservation of life, right? Okay. All right, let me get this one more from Errol Wisdom. Let me get it right here. I don't have it right there at all with him. Not there. All right. Don Hines. I'm gonna give you this one and call. You know, I think give me that one, Alien Woman. All right. Take this one, Alien Woman. Michael Buckley, Alien Woman.
It's too good to be true. Oh man, you ain't for real. No, you ain't for real. Alien woman. Please tell me where you call.
You know, you can get this right here around the world of sports and entertainment, this new release, and lots more to come.
Tell me where you call. Please tell me where you call.
We're looking forward to have a very, you know, competitive and full of sports and entertainment weekend that's coming up this week. You know, the Portmore Domino League is nearing its preliminary round, and we're going to line up for the quarterfinals there. Yes, we're going to give you the fixtures and results, of course, on Friday.
What a welcome. reach home. Like the African king sit on his throne. This one will come when I reach at my door. Such a wonderful feeling, like I'm still on tour. She set my bubble bath for me. $1 million smiles make me so happy. She said, baby, it's supper time. Loving how she fixed the table. I thought I'm sure she is willing and able. Always in the mood to set the pace right. She said you are home. So glad you make it home.
Yes, this and more. We are
said you are home.
From these British artists and lots more.
You'll never be alone.
Wisdom and many others. So stay tuned for the world of sports and entertainment again on Friday. And you'll hear more about the anniversary show that is coming up. So this is out until Friday. I am your host, Kingsley JJ.
It's the Everybody Sale at New Budget Supplies. Do-it-yourself professionals and contractors. This is the sale for you. Lumber, steel, dress and form ply, water tanks, pumps, PVC pipes and fittings, toilets, bathtubs, vanities and basins, windows, paint, doors, floor and wall tiles, thin sets and grout. Up to 20% off selected items. 195 Hagleyburg Road. Telephone 923-4560. New Budget Supplies. Always the best prices.
Tools, hardware and supplies is turning up the heat this summer with their super saving summer sale. Prices are slashed on everything you need to fix up your home. Beautiful tiles, sleek doors, top quality windows, modern sanitary ware, exclusive flooring and more. At Tools, hardware and supplies, we have you covered for the summer.
So come visit us at 279 Spanish Town Road, 4 South Camp Road, 8 Red Hills Road,
or online at toolsja.com.
Tools!
Lion King of Hardly.